What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great day. My name is Chris Weiser here with the amazing Lindsay Badillo. How are you doing, Lindsay?
Hello, I am wonderful. I have this beautiful background behind me.
Same, but I figured out my lighting.
I had this humongous lamp in my room. It's like 5 foot tall. I moved it from one corner of the room to the other corner, and it's still dark in here.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Anyway, Lindsay and I are in NOLA. We're in
NOLA.
New Orleans, Louisiana, and we have a seven-figure MSP revenue generator roadshow tomorrow. So if anybody is watching us live or anything like that, wants to come hang out, we would love to see you. We are at the Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Louisiana. You can register. It's I have no idea what the hell the URL is, but
mrr.sevenfiguremsp.com.
that's it. It's mrr.sevenfiguremsp.com. It's been, I tell you guys, it's been like a crazy week and a half because we had our live event in Phoenix last week. So literally got there last Saturday, like a week and a half ago, last Saturday. One of my clients had sweet tickets to the Waste Management Open, which is the big golf event that's in Phoenix. It was a shit show, for the lack of a better term. Sorry for the language, but it is what it is. It was crazy. But I was there, and then we had our live event Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, had our internal executive staff meeting on Friday, came home Saturday, left this morning at 6 a.m., and got to New Orleans. It is currently 3:00 p.m. It's been a long week and a half.
It's been a long time.
We're going to yell at Maria for
Maria.
booking the road show right after the live event, but that's okay. Anyway, we have a fantastic webinar for you today, a bunch of different stuff. I am the founder and CEO of Seven Figure MSP, and then we have our head marketing coach, Lindsay Badillo, here. Lindsay is going to walk through in a few minutes here. I'm going to kind of start out, and then I'm going to walk through for you guys kind of the why, and then Lindsay is going to walk through how to get 10 leads consistently to your MSP every single month. So, Lindsay, without further ado, I'm going to share my screen. Side note, guys that are with us here, we are live streaming all over the place. I have currently a bunch of people live on StreamYard webinar with us. We have a lot of people here. I think, we got a ton of people here. That's awesome. We're streaming on 2 Facebook groups, our Seven Figure MSP Facebook page, our Seven Figure MSP LinkedIn page, and our Seven Figure MSP YouTube channel as well. Plus, it's being recorded, so we'll send out the recordings and all that stuff later. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me get this up here. And Lindsay, I'll hand it over to you in a few minutes when I get rolling. Can you guys see my screen? Is that good? Can I get a yes if anybody's watching us with us live, just to make sure that I didn't break my stuff? I'm really good at it. It's kind of tough. You go from operating on 3 screens, all this stuff at home, and then I'm here on this little laptop in a hotel room. So, okay, cool. We are seeing some yeses here. Love to see that. Got some great people here with us. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. By the way, that's proof that it's live, for the record. That's why I do that, so you guys can see that. So, okay, let me get my screen changed over here, and we'll go. Okay, so here we go. Sorry for the window part. That is what it is. And we're good. So our title today, 3 secrets to 10 new leads every month in your MSP. I'm going to walk you through a couple things, a little housekeeping, and then I'll give you a little information from Chris, and then you'll hear from Lindsay in a few minutes. So Lindsay and I are promising to you, we're going to show you how to add at least 10 new qualified leads to your sales pipeline every single month. And a key here is without complicated landing pages, which are also known as funnels, or Facebook ads, or LinkedIn ads, or Google ads, and all this stuff. So we're going to show you a bunch of organic methods to get this done. So that's thing number 1. We're going to share real skills and strategy that our very own clients. Lindsay has an entire group of clients that are in her marketing machine. We call it our 7-figure MSP marketing machine inside of our coaching program. She also has a high-level group of advanced guys called Marketing Momentum. She runs that as well. So she does both together. And we're going to show you the real skills and strategy that these guys are using to generate leads consistently and sustainably in their MSPs every single month. Side note, make sure you get ready to take notes. There's going to be some real good giveaways here. So we got a bunch of free deliverables for you guys to take on today. What we're going to do is we're going to give you some URLs to download. There's also going to be your QR code. So if you want to get your phones ready so you can snap those, even if you just want to snap a picture of the screen or a screen share or whatever, feel free to do that. If you stay into the end, I'm going to be giving away a couple different prizes. One winner is going to get a $100 Amazon gift card. Keyword here, you have to stay until the end because we're going to be giving it away somewhere here in between. So you got to kind of watch, and we're not going to predict. You can't just like leave for 50 minutes and then come back and win it. And another winner will get a $75 Amazon gift card. So both people, $175 in total gift cards. And then there's going to be an opportunity for everybody to earn, keyword there, earn their own $50 Amazon gift card, but you have to stay until the end to get all these details. Okay. A couple notes with this. I know you guys are MSP owners. I was an MSP owner for 10 plus years, also owned a computer store before that. So please pay attention, which means no tickets. Put your damn tickets away. Put the mouse. How about we just like maybe even shut your laptop or your computer and put it on your phone or your iPad and watch because it's valuable stuff. That means also no client calls, no distractions. If you're serious about changing your business, we're here to help you, but you got to give us an hour. That's all I ask, really. Okay. And you really don't have to listen to me. Just listen to Lindsay. That's the one that matters.
That's always most important.
Whatever. Always fighting. It's not good. Okay. A couple quick things for you guys. We have our MSP MRR tour that we're doing literally right now. You can see I'm in New Orleans right now. So I just came out of Phoenix. We had January 25th, but we just came out of Phoenix. Right now, I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana. We got that tomorrow for lunch at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I didn't even have to mention that URL before because I forgot I had this slide. Then we had Raleigh coming up in March. We got Boston in April, Indianapolis for another big quarterly. Our quarterly was absolutely lit, guys. It was absolutely awesome. That was so much fun. And here's how you can register for that. That is May 7th, 8th, and 9th. That is live, and you can get a really, really good deal with promo code REVGEN if you sign up for that as well. So a bunch of good stuff for you guys. Highly recommend coming to see us live if you can, because, man, Lindsay's our MC for those big events. She was rocking the full pink suit on Wednesday. That was amazing. You did such a great job, and it was such a fun event. Any comments on the live event from you?
No, it's so much fun. Honestly, the banter that we have here, this is exactly how it is in person too. So I was just checking out this graphic though. Our graphics team did such an awesome job with this fast track your way to MSP success. This is the first time I've seen this graphic specifically. So also, if any of you watching are curious about all the different events and things that we have going on and you want to come hang out with us in person, we have just published a new events page where you can see everything that we have going on this year. It's events.sevenfiguremsp.com, and you can actually get notifications for the events that are coming near you. So
that is that URL. I think that's that promo code that's there, or the QR code that's there.
Oh, does it take them there? Perfect.
On the screen right now. That's it. And then there's the URL right below it that says events.7. This is the boss employee relationship we have at work.
This is the friendly banter.
Yeah, I get slapped around a lot. So, okay. Just a quick thing about our coaching team so you guys can see this. Obviously, you got me. Top right there is Cindy Phillips. Bottom left is the amazing Lindsay Badillo. And then we also have Ryan O'Hara, who's our basically our tech guy. He sold his MSP just over a year ago. So he's a great example. But we are a sales and marketing coaching program for MSPs. We help MSPs double their recurring monthly revenue in 6 months or less. That's our goal for everybody. Had guys on onboarding today, Lindsay, that were a $7 million a year company. They're stoked about what they're doing. So this works for big MSPs all the way down to small ones, and that's really key. But we focus on teaching you skills, not just temporary strategy or a bunch of done for you stuff that is like plug and play. That stuff's great. Don't get me wrong. We have a bunch of plug and play stuff, but you need to learn skills in order to really scale this, especially as the marketing world continues to change, because that's the stuff that matters, right? So, okay. I'm going to get into a little bit of what I'm going to talk about, and this is a little bit of the why. Here's why you need to be selling differently, and here's kind of why you need to be thinking differently as an MSP owner. And I know this isn't necessarily immediately marketing, but it's very, very relevant. First of all, things have changed in the MSP marketplace. And when I talk about that, that means cybersecurity is here. It is here to stay, not only on the delivery side, but every single business needs to put cybersecurity precautions in place and protections. Note, I did not use the word prevention. They need to put these things in place because they're going to get hacked. There's no MSP in the world that can sit there and be like, oh, I can stop all hacks. It's not going to happen. And you have to make sure that somebody's there to pick up the pieces, and more importantly, pay for the pieces to get picked up. That's your insurance company, and that's all this other stuff. And the bottom line, with the way that MSPs have historically sold, businesses are just not prepared. Your clients are not ready for what's happening right now. And this really shows because they're kind of thumbing their nose up at cybersecurity and don't tell me about this. I'm not interested in this. It's not something I'm worried about, blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line is we all know, every single MSP owner, every single MSP channel person knows that clients will get hacked. And your clients are actively sitting there thinking that IT support should still be a bargain basement service. And that's really important to acknowledge that, because the problem is your clients think across the board that you are doing everything they already need for cybersecurity. So how do we fix this? How do we work on this? From your standpoint, now I know this is a marketing webinar and I just want to make sure you understand. I could hand you, Lindsay, and I could hand you all the perfect leads in the world. But if you sell them the same way that you did, you're going to run into the same problems that you ran into, specifically price objections and probably some stack issues and all this stuff now. So if you let the client dictate the path of support and you don't grab it, and when I say grab it, you have to sell and you have to lead with cybersecurity. Now, I understand most MSPs, I'm going to say 95% of MSPs are not cybersecurity experts. I get it. But you know what you have in this marketplace right now is you have an amazing group of vendors. We just had 30 sponsors at our live event in Phoenix last week. All of them are cybersecurity focused, and all the ones that are cybersecurity SOC systems, or your security operations centers and your full SASE places, like all this stuff. You got Total and Citricom and Highwire Networks and SpearTip, and there's so many good companies out there that are doing this. They are cybersecurity experts, and you can latch onto them and focus on their expertise and sell that way. So number one, you have to sell and lead with cybersecurity. This is mission critical. That means also get rid of your good, better, best plan. I get a lot of heat for this. Here's why. It's real simple. If I ask any IT person out there, guy, gal, worldwide, you had unlimited budget at every single client, would you put in a good plan, a better plan, or best plan? Every single MSP, every single tech is going to say, well, I'd put in the best. Why aren't you? Because we've allowed price to come in and negotiate that scenario. By putting in a single flat rate cybersecurity focused plan and charging properly, when I talk about that, I mean 80% gross margins, charging the right way, put with the right stack in, you can protect yourself and put your client, at the very least, you can say, here, Mr. Client, I gave you the best. Now what? It's on them. One plan, full stack. And that's really, really key. Why full stack only? One word. And here's the deal. Liability and negligence. I guess those are two words. But bottom line, liability, you saying, Mr. Client, Mr. Prospect, I told you you needed this. You just had somebody from overseas come in and trick your CFO into wiring $400,000 overseas, internationally. It's not my fault. I tried. That's really, really important, because I tell you what, have fun. And oh, by the way, I have MSPs come up to me and they're like, oh, I'll win in court. Good luck getting to court, because the insurance company or even your client are going to drown you in paperwork and basically shut you down with legal fees before you even get that point. And I want to ask you, how will you, and I want you to just, you don't have to answer this in the chat or anything like this, but I want you to think about this. How will you or your clients refute a charge of gross negligence? Because it is now your job, not just to be a good tech, but it is now your job to make sure your clients at least have the ability to make a choice. Here's the best stack. Yes or no? We don't want it. It's too expensive. Okay, that's fine. Here's my plan when you get hacked. That's the kind of stuff you have to do now. Which leads into, you have to, every single scenario, every existing client, every new lead has to have a client discovery risk assessment. We call it a CSRA. You're going to see Lindsay use the terms CSRA, Cyber Security Risk Assessment. Why a full risk assessment? Obviously, yes, we want to do the old things that we always did. Gather data, find pain points, and find tech issues. Totally agree with that. That's what we all did, and that's what we gave away for free, basically, right? We also want to find pain That's kind of that pain points thing, but specifically find pain. Good example, like you have this much money in your bank account and you don't have MFA on your bank account, Mr. Client. Why? And you point it out to them and you make sure they understand how easy it is. And maybe you do a dark web scan and find that same password from their bank account out on the dark web. Or maybe you do a find out about that and then find your plain text password in the browser on their CFO or their bookkeeper. That's the kind of stuff that makes decision makers like, wait, what? That's the kind of stuff that makes them rise up and listen. That's that emotional tie. You also have to know their network better than the hackers. This is really critical. Most MSPs are nowhere near this. And I'm going to say most, like 90% plus, are still nowhere near this. And then you have to show the client. This is part of your duties now, guys. You have to show the client what a hack will really do. You get hacked, boom, here's what happens. Let's say 500K is in your bank account. Simulate that. That's the kind of stuff you need to be doing as part of your CSRA. And they need to see those results. And I know you're potentially sitting there saying, Weiser's an idiot. I get this a lot.
No comment.
Why are you laughing at that? That's not funny.
No comment.
Weiser's an idiot. I don't need to do this stuff. My client is smart enough for this. Everybody's great and happy and jovial and blah, blah, blah until there's money gone. I promise you that. I watched this happen. We have over 400 MSP clients in our coaching program actively right now. Big MSPs, small MSPs, paying us every single month. We watch these breaches and hacks happen. Hundreds of MSPs, we watch this stuff happen. And what's awesome is our guys are kind of pretty much ahead of the curve because they're ready for this. So here's a deliverable I have for you guys today. This is the system that you can use. See, Lindsay, Chris has deliverables too.
Look at there.
Proud of this. This is brand new stuff. This is our run the play workshop, basically handout, worksheet, etc. But you can kind of see on the screen there, kind of gives you a walkthrough so you guys can do this on your own. I would love to help coach you because we're disciplined. That's what we are. We are accountability, discipline, systems, process. More importantly, we have open office hours and coaching, but that is a worksheet that is a direct link into a Google Doc for you guys to grab. And it basically says, here's what you do. Go make a list of your existing clients. You can see there, step 2, pick 3 accounts that will tell you no to anything you suggest. 3, call them and tell them you're going to run a cybersecurity risk analysis on the business. Schedule the findings meeting for 4 weeks later. Deliver the findings. Offer you a new security first service. Sign a new contract for security service and limit your liability. Now, I know there's a lot of stuff that goes along with that, but I'm going to give you a head start with that. If you need further help, that's where I come in. More than welcome. Just shoot me a DM on Facebook if you have any questions. I'm there. I'm the guy. It's in fact the Facebook account with me. For me personally, I have a social one. The one with me is me and 2 guys holding up an award. That's me. Feel free to DM me. I answer, just for the record. So you should have that. Step 3, then, present your risk findings. Push this in front of your client. Show them the risk. Actually say, here's what's going to happen when there's a hack. Oh, by the way, we also checked your cybersecurity liability insurance or your internal cybersecurity insurance, and you're only covered for $200,000, or you're not covered at all, or it has all these stipulations around this, etc. So this is stuff that you need to look at, that you need to sit down and talk with them about. And do not talk tech. We all had the old orange binder, right? Most of us in that are old school guys now. I can't believe I'm saying I'm old school, but I'm 47, so I'm getting up there. We had these, the big thick binder shit that we dumped on their, here's all the RAM addresses and hard drive stuff, blah, blah, blah. That stuff doesn't matter. You know what matters? Your bank account has single MFA on it, single factor authentication, not single MFA, single factor authentication on it. I just found the password for this in your browser on your CFO, on your CRO, on your, all these people have all your passwords natively in their browser, and any hacker could grab this in 3 seconds. Showing them what's going to happen in a hack, showing how easy it is. That's the kind of stuff you got to show them. Highlight all of those pain points, layman's term pain points, not you have 42 gig of hard drive space used, your server's going to crash. That's great. It's fine, but it doesn't matter. Highlight the pain points to create emotion and need. And side note on this, if you do not create emotion and need, you're never going to fight any price objections. It's that simple. And if you don't turn on the risk light bulb, you will never, ever create that need. They have to get it. It has to literally click in their head to where you see like things go sideways and they're like, they have to understand. It's really key. And you eliminate that price objection by highlighting and showing them their needs across the board. Okay, we're going to hear from Lindsay. Lindsay, I don't see your screen shared. What is going on?
So I didn't want to mess up your screen share. Okay, so here we go. Also, Chris, we had a question over here. If you want to address this from Frank, while
okay, let's hit this while Lindsay's doing this. Is this from Frank? What's a sample plan should look like? I just covered this, I believe. So Frank must have got here a little bit later. Here's what I would suggest, Frank, on this. What's a sample plan should look like? Should there be a good, better, best plan, etc.? I'm looking at your full screen, Lindsay, just so you know that. Here's what I'll say. One stack, full plan. There we go. Perfect. One stack, full plan, guys. My suggestion, start with the best they should have, which is looking at the client. Think all of us as IT guys, we know, in fact, I'm going to take my screen off here a little bit so we can see the two of us together. We all know what should be in the full stack. Basic managed services, basic cybersecurity. I'd recommend an EDR, secondary threat protection, fully managed SOC, potentially SASE. Kind of depends on where you go. You know, you should have full MFA in, all kinds of different stuff. You should have all this stuff in place, guys, okay? Offer that. How we get, now we recommend, if you don't know what your numbers are, this gets a little bit deep, but if you don't know what your numbers are, we recommend selling that around $300 per seat in your currency per month on a 36-month agreement. How we get to that number, just so you know this, is we estimate a ballpark of an 80% gross profit margin. Until you get, now, MSPs are going, give me a calculator. I need a calculator. Go sell. Trust me, if you can make 50% gross profit margin, you're making more than you're making now, more than likely, okay? I recommend, and Frank, yes, Frank just said $300 per user. Yes, $300 per user. 10 user network plus a server, $3,300 a month. That's where I recommend you're at, okay? That's what you should be looking at. Our guys are selling this all day long. I don't care where in the world. In fact, I just had a guy from Tasmania message me this morning that he's actively selling this at $300 Australian. Killing it. Okay? And Anthony, you are incorrect about this. They're absolutely doing this all day long. Lindsay, you're not even a tech person. You're not an MSP person.
It happens every day.
Guys do this all day long. I promise you guys, they're doing this. Do not focus on the numbers. Focus on the pain and the risk. And also realize by putting this in front of them, you're helping them to manage that risk, and you can go back to their insurance company. In fact, we have a young lady, Melanie Padron, in our program. Melanie is in the Dallas, Texas market. She came from selling insurance plans. She's now moved over to selling risk management, IT. She is selling this all day long because she knows how to convince and talk. Convince is the wrong word. I shouldn't use that word. She knows how to actively show the risk, and then she goes back to the insurance companies and uses this to help them reduce their premiums. And it usually offsets the difference, is what she's finding. So it's a huge thing, guys. Anthony, I appreciate your opinion, but you are wrong, and I'm more than happy to work with you and prove it to you. But I want you to open your mind a little bit, saying that is not going to happen. This is not high risk or regulated, because I'm going to promise you right now, they are starting to get regulated. Great example of this. In fact, my in-house counsel is on this call. She can talk to you about regulations all day. But like Christopher just said here, new regulations and laws are enforcing this more and more. Absolutely. Here's the most important thing. You know who's really enforcing this? The insurance companies are mandating this across the board. And the FTC safeguards here in the States. We just saw new stuff on Canada. So I could talk about this all day long, but the bottom line is this is real stuff that's actively happening.
Yeah, and they do pay for it. So the first sentence that they're not going to pay for it, they do. And you're going to see, as we go through today's webinar, you're going to see several screenshots and case studies as we go through this, and we'll talk more about it. So, all right.
Hey, Lindsay, now we're seeing like a tiny version of your screen.
Oh, you know what? I bet it's because I did like the screen share. Let me take it out of that.
There
Is
we
that
go.
better?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yep, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. We are operating on individual screen laptops in separate hotel rooms right now, so it kind of is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, thank you all for being here with us. And my goal hi, I'm Lindsay. My goal today is to take what Chris just talked to you about around here's why times are changing. Here's how you guys have to evolve as MSP owners, MSSPs owners, and how it is that we're going to use this knowledge and then go out and generate new business. Okay. Now, it's really important if you are new to the 7-figure MSP way. Do you like that? The way of the Jedi. But if you're new to this, remember, it's always important that you learn how to sell first. So making sure that you are selling using this all-inclusive stack, that you are pricing appropriately, that you are tying in your services, your solution to those emotional pain points, because it's super important. Because what I'm going to teach you today, it's really not complicated. It is not hard stuff. And if you listen to it and if you go and implement these things, you will see results. Okay. Now it's super important though, that whenever you get these results and whenever you get these leads into the door, that you have a proven sales process to ensure that you're able to convert those leads. Okay. So I'm curious, go ahead and let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat, why are you here? What is your why? Are you here to see Chris and I? Are you here to see our faces? Are you here because you are feeling on fire from last week's live event in Phoenix? Why are you here today? Are you here because you want to make lots of money this year, lots of leads? Let me know in the chat. And let's see. Oh, I was like, who is this? Chris, that's you talking in the chat.
Yeah, that's me. Thanks,
okay.
Lindsay.
Yeah. Awesome. So Chris says, still in Phoenix. Can't wait for the Indianapolis one. I already signed up. Yay. That's awesome, Christopher. We will be in Indy in May. We're actually in New Orleans right now. So we have
we just got back. I got back Saturday. We were there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you want, Christopher, shoot me a DM on Facebook and I will send you the recordings as a gentleman's gesture.
Yep. Awesome.
I just gotta find a gentleman. That's all.
Yeah, and then someone else actually asked if we will have the recording to this webinar, and we will. So go to the same URL that you used to sign up for this, and the recording is always housed right there. So you'll be able to watch through this again if you have to bow out for any reason. Okay, so I got some cool stuff over here in the chat. Let me see if I can share these out. Better lead gen and higher close rates are never a bad thing. Exactly. We are ready to grow the company. I'm here for the free coffee. Oops, I mean to increase revenue. I hear you. I was just chugging a Celsius drink whenever Chris was talking. So that's what was in my water bottle over here. All right, Coleman says, I need new qualified leads. Jennifer says, this is my first time attending. Michael wants to bring in new leads. And David from South Africa says, I'm here to learn how to make 7 figures a month. Let's go.
Love it.
So again, what I'm going to walk you through today is not complicated per se. It's really going to bring you back to some basic lead generation things, but it's very important. And Chris, I think we have an echo. Do you want to mute while I'm talking?
I will do that. Yep.
Thank you. It's really important that we not overcomplicate the process. Okay. And one thing that we talk about a ton, in all the places that we visit with all of our clients is it's just simple execution. It's just simply following the steps. Okay. So I invite you to write this down, first of all, here in a second, but to just take what you learned today and then go do something. Okay. Don't watch this and then do nothing. Make sure that you go and do something, because that's what's going to make the difference between the person who consumes all the information and has all these ideas and attends all of the webinars, but doesn't go and do anything, versus the person that's like, hey, I may not be doing this perfectly, but I'm going to try to go do something. I'm going to go make a call today. I'm going to go send this email today. I'm going to go do this thing, even if it is imperfectly to begin with. Okay. So as your marketing coach for the day, make sure that we leave this webinar and we go do something. Okay. So here's what I want you to write down. You can put it in your notes app. You can write it down on paper. I personally am a pencil and paper kind of girl. I like to write things down. Go ahead and write this down for me. My job as CEO is to drive leads to and through my pipeline every single day. Okay. So if you are CEO here, if you are founder, if you are business owner, I understand that maybe you are the main tech point of contact. Maybe you are the tech person. And also know that as you grow, as you scale, you have to be able to remove yourself. This is actually relevant to a conversation that Chris and I had earlier today. I said, Chris, how does someone get ready to kind of remove themselves from their, or when they go to sell their MSP, how do they price it? And, what would a typical value be on it? And one of the things that Chris mentioned was you got to make sure that CEO or that founder is not the tech person, because that's going to help make sure that they get higher payouts for selling their MSP. So this is not just important for growing your business right now, but also for removing yourself one day when you go to exit. Okay. So
Hey, can I say something really quick on this?
Yes.
I had a keynote that I did last Wednesday morning, and one of the things that I was talking about in my keynote, guys, was how my job now, yes, I have a coaching firm. I understand that it's slightly different than an MSP, but it's very similar to how I built my MSP. It's pretty much running the same concepts. We are a sales and marketing firm that delivers coaching services. Well, we were a sales and marketing firm that delivered IT services before. And my job every single day, and what I was talking about during my keynote, I had my CRO there, I had my sales manager there, and I had all of my setters watching. We have all these guys that are actively working on this. So maybe I'm not selling every day, maybe I'm not doing all this, but I'm definitely not in the trenches all day, because my job is to drive leads to my sales pipeline. What am I doing right now? Doing a live webinar, thousands on the internet. That is what you need to be focusing on. I understand you like IT. I loved IT too, but you know what I like more? Money. It's that simple. Go ahead.
Money, honey. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. So we want to make sure that we are taking ownership of your sales pipeline. Because if you're like most, and I know this because I've worked with MSPs now for, 2 years. I've worked with thousands of business owners over the last 5 years. And what I know for certain is that most business owners are an expert in what it is that they're in business for, right? The dentist goes to dentist school to become a great dentist. He doesn't really learn how to be a great business owner. Okay. So it's so important that we have to train ourselves that this is our job. It's to put leads into and through the pipeline. So meaning that every single day I'm talking to new people, I'm getting out there, and I'm going to show you how we do that. And then that you're moving them through a systematized process. Okay. So I'm curious, how do we do this when we are the tech person? How do we do this when we are busy, when we are taking tickets, when we have team to train and new hires and all these things going on, and we've got to go to this client's office and we've got to go here and we got to do all these things? I want to go ahead and talk about this because this is important. How can I be in charge of sales and marketing and lead generation when I'm doing all the other things? You have to remove yourself from being the chief doer. And I'm going to preface everything else that comes in today's webinar, in today's training, with this. Okay. You must stop being the chief doer. And what I mean by that is having your team come to you for every single question and ticket is not a badge of honor. It is slowing down your money making. It is slowing down the money that can come into your company because you are so busy in the trenches of all the things that you're not able to focus on the things that take money to the bank. Okay. So we've got to work on removing ourselves from being the chief doer, from having everyone ask us questions 24/7, from being the one that the clients call personally on our cell phones. And hey, maybe that was the thing that got us to where we are because people like us and they trust us as the CEO, as the MSP, but we have to learn to remove ourselves from that. Okay. Now, to put this in perspective, Chris mentioned our marketing machine. So in the 7-Figure MSP Elite program, once you go through our sales onboarding, which is where you're learning to sell, exactly what that is, you're learning how to run the play, quote unquote. You're kind of rewiring your mindset and your practices around, I see this over here on the screen, working hard to change mindset and working in the business versus working on the business. Exactly, Christopher. Well said. So we want to make sure that we go through sales. Once you do that, you go into our marketing machine. Now, this marketing machine curriculum is all about bringing new leads into your business. So put this into perspective. Those clients have a 20-hour per week prerequisite for them to even be admitted into marketing machine. And I know that that's scary, right? And it's like, whoa, 20 hours per week. But put that into perspective, right? 5 days a week, we're talking 4 to 5, typically around 4 hours a day. Okay. For us to be working on our lead gen, making contacts with potential clients, working on building our list, making phone calls, sending emails, making follow-up touch points, making sure that we can get into the rooms with our ideal clients. We're going to talk about all this stuff here in a few minutes. Okay. But 20 hours a week is not far off from where we need to be. So before you go and say, well, I made 10 calls yesterday and I didn't get anything from it, or, well, I've been posting on social media every day and I'm not seeing anything from it. Are you putting in 20 hours a week? Okay. That's what we have to ask ourselves, because chances are most of us are not, right? And that's okay, because maybe you don't know what you don't know, but just know that it's going to take time and effort and sweat equity to get the results that we want. And I don't think that enough coaches and enough sales and marketing firms talk about the commitment that goes into this. Okay.
Hey, really quick, Lindsay, just to
Yeah.
give you guys an idea. So we have multiple setters on our team. I have one that does cold calling. I have one that runs our LinkedIn. I have another one that runs cold direct email. I have another one that runs cold direct Facebook messaging for people that are engaged. Just to give you an idea. So this is Thursday. I'm going to go back to last Thursday. This is Mike's end of day KPIs for Thursday. And they have to report into our teams group every single day, just to give you guys an idea of the amount of active activity one of our setters does on one day. End of day KPIs, Mike: calls 104, conversations 17, call offers 5, strategy sessions booked, discovery booked 1. Strategy sessions booked 2, discovery booked 1. So out of 104 calls, he had 17 conversations. Out of those 17 conversations, he basically had a 1/3 discussion rate and that were qualified and were interested. Booked 2 on the fly, had 1 discovery booked. He'll continue to follow up. That was just Thursday. The day before, just to give you an idea, and I know this is a lot of stuff. Now keep in mind, this is not me. This is my systems that I put in for my team. So it's the
But
same
it
stuff.
used to be you. It was once you.
It 100% was me in the beginning. In fact, if I go back a year, I was doing it at this point back then because I ripped and replaced my entire team down to 0. Okay. Because I was not happy with the systems that we were using, and I ripped it and rebuilt it from scratch. Here's Wednesday for Mike: 71 calls, 13 conversations, 7 call offers, 3 strategy sessions booked. So you see, every single day, that amount of activity turns into real leads and real stuff. So I want to ask you, when's the last time you made 71 calls in a day?
Yep.
And we have that across four different guys running this as a system. So I know it's a lot, but you got to start somewhere, because a lot of people coming in, they're like, oh, I was talking to a guy last night. In fact, I think Joe is on this call. Joe, if you're on this call, feel free to chime in. I think Joe Masry is on this call. But we were talking back and forth, and I was, he was messing around with his website. And I'm like, stop worrying about your damn website. He's like, well, I need SEO. Do you know how long, Lindsay, you and I talked about this morning as we were riding in the Uber over here. Do you know how long SEO takes to work? Assuming then they're actively really searching for you. Take control, find an ICP, an ideal client profile, make something really valuable, call them. I'll shut up. I get all passionate.
No, because those are things that you can control. You have direct control over how many phone calls you make in a day. You don't have control over how many people are Googling MSP or IT near me. So great point to that. Okay. Yep. Anthony, 6 to 12 months minimum to see any results that are meaningful with SEO. And not to say that SEO doesn't have a place, because it 100% does. In fact, we're actually working on our website at 7-Figure MSP and the Wiser Agency actively, but it's after we already have a written.
Here's what I'll say, Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys go to 7figureMSP.com, I spent 40 minutes on that funnel 4 years ago. It ain't changed.
It's the same funnel. Love it.
I don't care about SEO, because you know what I do? I put my names in people's mouth. That's it, right? That's the difference versus letting them think they might need you and they stumble on. I'm not going to say that stuff's not important at all. And now we're finally 4 years later, names big enough. want more. Go gobble, 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 gobble. Like that's it.
Yep.
Control it.
Yep. So good. Yep. Anthony, you're exactly right. I need clients today. Absolutely. And then as we were talking through that exact case, client study or whatever, it's like, hey, go make money now and then pay someone that is a professional website developer, pay someone that does SEO professionally, and they can go and actually get you results versus us tinkering around trying to figure it out in the meantime. Great point. Okay. So again, put in perspective, it's going to take time. It's going to take time of you putting in the effort, putting in the calls, and actually getting in control of your results. Okay. Now and you can actually see a couple of our client case studies over here. I'm going to quickly kind of move through these so we don't get bogged down, but you'll see our clients are literally presenting to over 100 CPAs in Washington State, ready to present on the FTC safeguards to over 54 CPAs in the room. We've started Marketing Machine. We're working on our newsletters, our lives. We've got our webinars ready to go. All our cold emails, cold calls, direct mail, all these things that we teach inside of Marketing Machine. They took the time. Granted, now this was actually Marketing Machine Live was a 2-day workshop that we've done annually for the past 2 years. So this was the last one. We spent 2 days, approximately 16 hours together inside of a group Zoom call that we did with our clients. And they spent those 2 days setting up all those things. 16 hours of putting in all these systems so that, again, we can be in control of our results. We've got FTA, we've got 3 FTAs set up out of 8 that were registered for our webinar. So all these things that are going to put us in control of our results. Okay. Our clients are immersing themselves into owning their pipeline. And if you are new to the sales and marketing side of your business, whenever I say the word pipeline, all I mean is I'm taking a lead from cold to a closed client. Cold as in there's no love, trust factor there. They don't really know me. There's no level of authority built. There's no level of trust built. They don't really know who I am. And I'm taking them through a series of steps in my sales and marketing pipeline. And I'm getting them to that point to where they shake hands and it's a deal. Okay. Because it does not happen overnight. And there are several steps that have to happen in between. Okay. And our clients every single day are working on bringing in new leads and moving existing leads through that pipeline. Okay. So how do they do it? Let's just go ahead and address some of these things because I've seen every single one of these numerous times. And hey, if this is us, that's okay. We can't do better until we know better, right? So let's talk about what we do not do. If we want to get in control, we're going to make sure that we're booking 10 new calls a month. And let me tell you why 10 new calls or 10 new leads per month is important. If I want to go close one deal this month, if I want to close a new contract this month, I want to go close a 36-month contract, let's say a 10 user contract at $300 per seat, I want to add $3,000 per month. I need to be on the phone with at least 10 qualified leads that month. So if I say, okay, 10 calls a month, I'm going to close one client out of that. How do I get that number? Out of those 10, typically 3, maybe 4 will go forward to that CSRA that Chris talked about, that cybersecurity risk assessment. Out of those 3 to 4, you will probably have 1 or 2 that says, no, thanks. This is not for me. I'm going to go to someone else. No big deal. Fine. I got other people in the pipeline. One of those people will say, I like this. I want this. I've got to work it into the budget. Let's follow up next quarter. Cool. No worries. The other person will say, I'm in, I get it. I see the risk. Sign me up. Okay. So if I want to close a deal per month, I need to get 10 new leads every single month on the phone with me. Okay. So to do that, here's what we are not going to do. We're not going to copy and paste. When I say copy and paste, I mean, look from the outside in on someone else's business and say, wow, they have a pretty website. Maybe I need a pretty website. Or, wow, they're doing reels every day on Instagram. Maybe I should do reels every day on Instagram. Okay. So it's looking from the outside in at someone else's business and saying, well, it looks like they know what they're doing. Let me do that thing too, because we don't know what's going on. We have no idea what's going on inside of their business. So you got to keep your eye on your tunnel, keep tunnel vision on what it is that we know that we can control. We're also not going to dump it all on our teams. Okay. So let's say you have the budget and you're like, cool, Lindsay, I'm going to go and hire an SDR and I'm going to tell them to go book appointments for me. Now, I myself have never closed a deal before on my own other than referrals, but I'm going to hire the salesperson and they're going to go make it happen. You're going to be disappointed. Okay. So we just heard Chris literally walk us through the numbers that we saw just last week from one of our setters. But that strategy came from the top down. That came because Chris was literally, I remember this last year, it was last March. You were literally on the phone with prospects having sales conversations with them. Even though you've got this successful company, you are not too big for your britches per se to get on the phone and rework the strategy. So it doesn't matter how big or how small our MSP is. We have to run the strategy. Okay. You cannot just bring in a new BDR or a new team member and expect them to know how to do everything. We've got to be in control of that. Okay. And I
Here's
think
the other thing that I definitely see MSPs do. And I know there's somebody on this call. I don't know you personally, but I'm saying I know there's someone that's doing this on this call. I'm going to hire a sales guy, and then I'm going to send them out in the field to book calls or to book meetings. That will fail 99 out of 100 times. And you might have somebody that's got a book of business that somehow stumbles on, out of their way. Like, for example, like that, it's really, really rare. And all you're going to do is throw a bunch of money. You might as well just give me the money if you're going to do that, honestly, because Lindsay and I got it. We're in New Orleans. We're going to get some oysters tonight. And that's,
I'm excited.
But you have to understand your salespeople need a system. You should have a closer and you should have prospecting systems. That's what that's for. It has to be systematized or it will flop. And you have to be the one that runs that show. And do not hire a salesperson until 50% of your time is literally used doing CSRA presentations and sales meetings and all this other stuff. So you actually have something you can give to them. And then your job should be to focus on lead gen. Back to Lindsay's first slide. Your job is to do lead gen, period. Now, I understand you got all this other crap. I get it. But my key focus in seven-figure MSP, is making sure that my sales funnel is full of lukewarm leads that we can trickle down to make them hot for my team. That's my job.
Yep. Okay. Well said. I will also say, and this is kind of off the script here, but developing sales skills will change your life. Having the know-how to take someone and convey a message to them. And we go from talking tech and in our zone of expertise to now I'm able to take someone who doesn't understand something or get the why, and then I can move them to what I want them to think. That is a lifelong skill that will change your life. So don't discount the power of you learning how to sell and learning how to do this stuff. This is so powerful. Okay, Anthony says, I'm seeing an MSP with 10K MRR with a single client, doing that right now. Throwing 6K a month at a sales guy, and they've been digging around for 2 months. Exactly. Trying to get sales. Yep, they're trying to play in their CRM. They have zero marketing materials, no system, and that makes me sad. Anthony, we have a very nice referral program, so please send them our way. We will help them out with that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So they're also, now this is another one, and I don't want to go too much on a tangent because I want to keep us here. I want to keep us on track, but we also want to be careful of not to outsource to all-in-one marketing agencies. And I actually talked about this more in depth last week in Phoenix around how do marketing agencies get paid? These all-in-one agencies, how do they get paid? They get paid by just saying they're doing something, right? They're getting paid by activity. They're getting paid because they send you an invoice every month on the 6th of each month, and you got to pay it no matter what, no matter how many appointments they book. There's an issue with that. They're going to get paid regardless. Okay. So if we outsource this stuff, oh, well, I'm working with this company and they do my social media and my blog and they call people and yeah, they set appointments for me. Okay, cool. Well, how many appointments did they book for you last month? Oh, well, last month was a slow month. I got one appointment. So you're paying $6,000 a month for one appointment. That's an issue. Okay. That is an issue. So,
and even worse, sometimes it's the wrong type of client because they're promising we're the cheapest guy in town or we sell cheap IT or we're great with it. You just got to be really, really, really careful about this, guys. And it's critical. I know you want, and trust me, I know I've been there. I know you want done for you appointments and all this stuff. The best appointments, the best lists, the best systems are built, not bought. And I promise you that, and it matters.
Yeah, and that actually brings up a really good point, Chris, because also to that, if we're, let's say that we have an outsourced cold calling agency, or like an outsourced hunter, again, they're getting paid on quantity. So they're getting paid based on how many appointments did they book. So do you think they're going to be pre-qualifying those calls to make sure that they're the right kind of lead? Or are you listening into the recordings to make sure that they're not selling your company as being the bottom line price and the cheapest person in town, like you just said? So huge, huge value, and you making sure that, again, you're running that strategy. Okay. We also do not want to depend on referrals alone. I love referrals. They're great. It's the cherry on top, but it is not controllable. We do not want to say that we are too introverted to market or network. Again, sales skills will change your life. I don't care how introverted or extroverted you are. They will change your life. Okay. So we got to own that. We do not want to hide in the shadows. And what I mean by this is just kind of playing in the background. And maybe we say, oh, well, I go to a networking meeting every week. I go to the BNI. Are you positioning yourself as an expert in those meetings? Are you collecting contact info in those meetings? Are you making follow-up calls from those meetings? Or are we just kind of sitting back and hoping that someone approaches us and hands us a lead on a silver platter?
Also, are you in a BNI group that's actually really a good group of referral partners? Because I will tell you, like I was in BNI. I was a chapter president, as a matter of fact. It took me starting my own group and then cultivating that group, which they're actually, unless you got massive population limitations, they're usually totally fine with you starting your own group. It took me starting my own group and then putting the right people in it. I don't need realtors and makeup sales ladies and hair salon owners in my group. I want a CPA. I want a title company. I want wealth management owners. Like I want executive director from elderly care facility. That's the kind of stuff I want in my group. So think about, make sure you surround yourself with a really good circle of influence as well, if you're going to put the time into those groups.
Yep. 100%. And again, it's like you being informed enough about the types of leads that you need to look around and say, this isn't it. I got to make a change. Okay. Now this is what I talked about in the beginning of my session here of being careful of, okay, I'm reading the books and I'm attending Chris's webinars and I went to the live show and I'm consuming all this information, but I'm not putting anything into action. Okay. That's the gas pedal behind all of it. It's going and doing something. So in fact, tomorrow, whenever I start our road show, we're in New Orleans. We're gonna be at a Fleming's here. We'll have folks in the room with us. I will start the room tomorrow by saying, how many of you have talked to 10 people? How many of you have talked to 10 leads today? Have you talked to 10 leads today? And the entire room will probably have their hands down. Every now and again, I'll get maybe 2 or 3 in the room that'll raise their hand. So are you doing something? Are you talking to people? Are you putting yourself out there? Because that's the thing that's going to generate results. And then again, make sure that we're not sitting behind the computer, perfecting our website or perfecting, a funnel because I saw someone else do this, or writing an ebook and all these things. That's not putting you on the phone with prospects. Okay. All right. So here's what we do want to do. All right. And I'm going to break down each one of these. I'm going to give you actionables. I'm going to give you resources that you can go and implement for you, yourself, your team. I'm going to give you things that you can go and do today to help you get new leads in the door. So we want to make sure that we're positioning ourselves as the cybersecurity expert. Yes, you are a cybersecurity expert. And we want to make sure that we are getting into the rooms with our ideal clients. We want to make sure that we are building, not buying, lists of our prospects, so lists of our ideal clients, and we get into the offense of our lead generation. So meaning that we are not depending on referrals. We're not waiting on things to be handed to us. I'm not posting on LinkedIn every day. That's cool. That's great. I like that. But am I getting into the offense of my lead gen? And I'm going to nurture, because it takes a whole lot of touch points. It takes a whole lot of follow up, and it takes multiple touch points and building trust to get those leads from cold to closed. Okay. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So let's talk about point number 1 here. How do we position ourselves as the cybersecurity expert? Put a 1 in the chat if you are the cybersecurity expert. If I could see you all face to face right now, and you are able to show me if you're the cybersecurity expert, put a 1 in the chat. Let me know, are you a cybersecurity expert? Okay, because I want to know if you're a cybersecurity expert, great. Well, how do I put you into the rooms with your ideal clients? All right, Anthony says he's an expert. Awesome. All right, I got to ask to be in those rooms. I've got to ask to position myself, just like we saw in those screenshots back there. We had John that was in a room with over 154 of his ideal clients. We had Carl that was in a room with over 50 CPAs who he's in there teaching about FTC safeguards because he's the go-to expert. Okay. Which, by the way, Carl is now, after working with him for over a year inside a marketing machine, he is now the trusted partner for the New York Bar Association for education and continued learning. That's a big deal. Okay. Because he asked to be in those rooms. So we want to make sure that whenever we walk into rooms such as BNI, Chamber of Commerce, bar associations, conferences, trade shows, and sponsorship events, all these places, we want to make sure that we're positioning our company as cybersecurity first. Okay. Now, this is probably going to be a shift for a lot of us here in the call because you probably started your company as an IT company or as a computer repair shop or as a we'll manage your IT. Right. And that's a part of it. And as Chris talks about a little bit deeper in the sales webinar that we do each month, but it's like if you have the top tier stack, of course you're going to have IT in there. Of course you're going to do the support things. Of course you're going to have that. But first and foremost is cybersecurity. Okay. So we're going to sell them on risk, on their liability that's out there, on, hey, times have changed. Cyber attacks are way up. How are we going to manage your risk? Okay. It's not an afterthought. It's not maybe later. Sure. Let me give you this quote on fixing this thing that you called me about. And then let's discuss cybersecurity. Because what are they going to say if you have a lead that calls you today and they're like, hey, we need to fix XYZ. Can you give us a quote? Sure. Here, I'll send you an email with a quote. Oh, by the way, we offer cybersecurity. What are they going to do? They're going to say, oh, no, thanks. We're fine. Not right now. We have to lead with cybersecurity. We have to lead with risk. Okay. We want to make sure that we're proudly acting like an expert and we do not question if we're the expert. This is just a little bit of mindset work right here, because even if you don't have all the answers, all right, and if no one's ever told you this, I'm going to tell you right now, because it's going to set the stage for everything else. Even if you don't have all the answers right now around cybersecurity, maybe you're not certified in, SOC or all these acronyms, all these things, you don't have to have all the answers. You just need to know that you can get the answers. Okay. And we have so many trusted partners in the MSP space. We had so many amazing, cybersecurity partners that were there with us in our event last week. I meet awesome people all the time, that provide these services. They do these things for you. So you don't have to have all the answers. This is why you have a network of people that can help you, that can support you. Okay. And it's why you want to keep your profit margin high, so that you can comfortably and confidently pay those professionals to help you do this. So here's what I want you to kind of take notes on right here. I know I'm the expert. Now, how do I get in front of my ideal clients as the expert? We want to be looking at associations. So an example here would be municipality associations, CPAs, auto dealer associations. This is super important after you have established who your ideal client is. So what your ICP is that Chris mentioned earlier, your ideal client profile. What industry are they in? What problems do they have? Are they a CPA? Are they a dentist? Are they an attorney? Who is that ideal client? Then you're going to be able to target and say, okay, if I was an attorney in the Florida area, I'm based in Florida. So if I was an attorney in Florida, what kind of groups would I be in? Okay. And this is actually something that we do in Marketing Machine in week 1 of Marketing Machine. This is the very first thing that we do. Well, second thing, I guess. First thing we do is we establish our ideal client. Then we go through and find these groups. But you have to know, all right, if I was that attorney, where would I be? Where would I be in groups of people? Where would I be congregating? What type of services would I be using? Who would have connection to this group of ideal clients? So we can look at associations. We can look at podcasts or YouTube channels or other entertainment sources that our ideal clients are using. actually, now we have the technology, and Chris, this is something that we talked about last week in our leadership meeting, but you now have the option to target your ideal clients on the television streaming channels that they're watching. So there's so many different ways that you can get in front of your ideal clients as the cybersecurity expert. So maybe it's you going onto YouTube and getting onto like a travel channel or a podcast that the attorney would be listening to. Okay, so think outside of the box here.
And here's the real trick with this. Lindsay's going to go through some of this in a little bit. It's one thing to get there and have your ad up. It's a whole nother thing to actually put something in front of them that they're interested in. So don't forget, it has to be something they actually care about. Like, look at our title. It's not like something lame. It's something actually that you're interested in as an MSP owner. That is not an accident.
Yep.
Get 10 leads per month, etc. Also, we have another one that's double your MRR in 6 months or less. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you guys care about. So you have to speak directly to the needs of who your ICP is.
That's
Side
so
note,
good. And it's like we're positioning the outcome first. So instead of us saying, come learn about our marketing machine and sales process, it's here's the 3 secrets to 10 new leads. That's the outcome, not the process.
Yes.
So that's really, really a really good point.
Yeah. Really, really quick on this side note on this. Just because we're marketing to a single ICP doesn't mean this is all you take as an MSP owner. It's who our marketing message is for that specific vertical is focused on. Very important.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so we want to look, at educational institutions. So this could be colleges or boards of education. We can do community breakfasts. In fact, in Marketing Momentum, we have a requirement that every quarter you host your very own in-person event. So such as a lunch and learn, community breakfast, Taco Tuesday or something, where you're actually inviting business leaders from your community and you're putting on this event where you are that go-to IT and cybersecurity expert. This is so valuable as you're establishing your company as a cybersecurity expert. We can also look at niche specific Facebook or LinkedIn groups. So for an example, this is an actual name of a group, CPAs of Florida Facebook group. So 2 things here. It is niche specific and it is geographic specific as well. So if I was an MSP, I'm targeting CPAs in Florida, I would literally just go to Facebook or Instagram, go search the groups tab, and I'm going to go try to find groups that are pulling together my ideal client. Now, I'm not going to go and try to get in this group and spam the group. Buy from me, get a CSRA today. No, instead, I'm going to go into these groups just like I would if I were joining a networking group, and I would go in and I would lead with value, and I would position myself as having some answers to questions that they may be asking. I would build relationship to the admins of those groups. I would see how I could serve first, because sales is service. Sales is service. And so I would be seeing how I can serve this community. And then because of the bank of reciprocity, okay, if I'm offering something this way, then they're going to reciprocate that and offer something back this way, offer it back my way. Okay, so that's with any of these groups or any of these associations that you're involved in. How can I serve? Not how can I sell and close deals today? How can I serve this group? Okay, it's like the physics of sales. If I can serve, then I'm already selling. You can also do SMB referral training. So I'm actually going to give you a resource on this. So this is helping you put yourself out there as the expert by offering trainings or cybersecurity workshops to an office or to a workforce where, again, you're offering, you're serving, and in turn, you're positioning yourselves as the expert. Okay, because most internal IT departments are not equipped and are not ready to implement these cybersecurity measures. Okay. There was actually, if those of you that have been keeping up with the FTC safeguards since they pushed it out at the end of, 2022? It was supposed to be December of 2022, then they pushed it back because there was a shortage of cybersecurity qualified professionals. Think about that. You are already top tier. You're already in the minority if you're positioning yourself and talking about these things around cybersecurity, because majority of people are not doing it. All right, so here we go. I got a resource here for you. This is going to be an ask template. So the key here, before you scan that, before you grab that, the key here is to do it. The key is to do the thing. Do not overthink it. Do not overcomplicate it. We had a win that came through in our clients only Facebook group like last week. One of our momentum members says, I sent out this exact template to 75 people. And now she's set up like 3 or 4 trainings where she's going to be going in and teaching and going in and positioning their company as cybersecurity experts, offering, hey, this is the education. Here's how times have changed. Here's what you need to do to protect yourself. Okay. And that's going to serve invaluable to their company and to the trust that they're building. So here's a template. It's actually going to have like 4 or 5 different templates in there. You can go through that with any template that you ever receive from me, from Chris, from anyone else. Always make it your own. So read through this, use common sense. You're smart. Read through this, make it fit your company, add in your company info. Okay. And then I want you to send this out to your list of clients, to your list of connections, to your networking meetings or your network connections, okay, to folks in your community. And you are simply going to be asking for an opportunity to educate others, saying, hey, I value the relationship that we have. I'm on a mission to protect and to help other organizations protect their businesses. Do you know of anyone that could benefit from a cybersecurity training? And you're simply going to position yourself as that expert to go in and serve those communities. Okay, so you can use this link right here, 7figuremsp.link. I wonder if I can't copy and paste it from here.
I'll type it in for you.
Okay, thank you. Or you can scan that if you're watching this on your desktop, either one. And it will not ask you for an opt-in. It will take you straight to the template right there. This will take you like 20 minutes to go through this, edit it, and then push it out to a list of clients. All right. Asaka says we cannot download the file. It's asking to log in. Oh, that's weird. It shouldn't be.
It's the first time I've heard that we've used that before. So we'll have to check on it. We'll come back and check on it for you guys.
Yeah, that's okay. And Asaka, we can also push this out after the webinar, and we can give you the link to it. So no worries you got it. Good. Awesome. Thank you.
I think you got to put the challenge with the bit.ly links is you have to put the HTTPS in front of them. So that's probably why. So just make sure that works.
Okay. Good deal. Thank you.
Yeah, somebody doesn't know how to make slides. So that's
continuing. All right, next up. So I've positioned myself as the expert. That's number 1. And guys, like, don't glaze your eye. Like, don't say, oh, yeah, Lindsay, position myself as the expert. That is critical. It's critical because, again, like, if you keep on doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you got. So if you keep positioning yourself as the IT person, I'll give a quote whenever someone calls me. Sure, we might do cybersecurity. We might not. You're going to continue to get the results that you've been getting. So this is absolutely critical. This is the foundation to everything else. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want us to make sure that we are building lists, not buying them, and that we are actually doing something with those lists. So here's my questions for you really quick. And actually this should, I thought this was updated in our new slide deck. But are you on track to hit your Q1 2024 revenue goal? So go ahead and let me know in the chat. Are you on track to hit your 2024 Q1 revenue goal? So that's January, February, March. Are you on track to hit your goal? Yes or no? Really quick. 10 seconds less. Yes or no? Are you on track to hit your 2024 Q1 goal? Okay, because this is going to tell us a lot here. And I'll tell you, whenever I ask this question in person and I can see hands in the room go up, I usually see about 10 to 20% of the room say yes. I see about 70% of the room say no. And then the other 10% is like, I don't even know what my goal is. Okay. And so we have
you got answers here that right now, not close, negative, no. So far, you know that.
Okay. Thank you so much for your honesty, first of all. Okay. Here's why this is important. Number 1, we got to establish a goal. You got to have a goal. And if you don't have a goal yet, I want you to set your goal right now. I want to close a deal per month, 1 deal per month. I need 10 new leads per month. If you don't have a goal, here you go. 1 deal per month equals 10 new leads per month, 10 first-time appointments. Okay. Here's why this is important. If I want to go get those appointments now, I've got to be building these lists. I've got to have prospect information in front of me that I can then go and target. I've got to have direction. It's like going to play the Super Bowl, but I don't have a playbook. Well, that was good, right? It's like I got to have a plan to go do this stuff. So here's why. What I do right now, it's February. 6 months from now, it's going to be August. Okay. What I'm doing right now, it's going to be a direct reflection of what I see 6 months from now. Okay. So the effort you're putting in right now, you're going to bear the fruits of that labor 6 months from now, maybe sooner. Okay. But again, it takes time. So whatever results you're getting right now, ask what you were doing in August of last year. What were you doing in August of last year? Because that's probably going to show you why we have the results that we have right now in February of 2024. Okay, so put this into perspective. Whenever we work on this for 5 days and we say, well, I haven't signed any deals yet. Well, have you done it for 6 months? Have you put in the reps? Have you put in the repetition to even see the results of what you're doing? Okay. So remember, our most successful clients are not doing these things. They're not dumping it on their teams. They're not hiring it out to all-in-one marketing agencies, yada, yada, yada. You guys know this is not what we're doing. We are building lists. We are building this list and we're moving them to and through our pipeline. We're going to stop relying on referrals and Google searches alone. And we've already talked about this with, hey, I get it. We love a fancy website, but that's not the thing that we can control. SEO is not something that I control. Getting referrals from people that love me, awesome. I love that. It's free leads, but it is not the thing that I can control, especially if and when the economy is in a state of contraction, when the flow of money slows down a little bit. Okay, referrals are not something that I can count on. I can't. If I get them, great, but I cannot count on that. Okay.
And in reality, it probably takes, I'm going to say it takes a minimum of a year in business to get good referrals even starting. And at no point are we saying referrals suck. No, referrals are amazing. I love them.
Yep.
But can you get 10 a month? No, unlikely, highly unlikely. Even if you're in business, like we struggle to get 10 a month. I will tell you that. And I have a large company with a lot of clients in massive databases. If I had to grow my company only on referrals, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you right now. I will tell you that. I call referrals and Google searches alone growth by accident, just for the record.
Yep. Very well
said. So it'll grow, but it'll be accidental, not purposeful. Big difference.
Yeah. And then I will also say on this, what I hear often is, well, referrals are fine for right now, or SEO is doing great right now. We'll work on marketing later. Well, whenever that slows down, remember it takes 6 months. So don't wait until your well has run dry. Don't wait until it's starting to slow down before you put in the efforts. Start now so that when things do slow down or you do run out of referrals or the current work that you have right now, you already have things waiting for you in the pipeline. Do not wait until things slow down. Get to work now. I promise you it's going to be worth it. All right. And again, we've already talked about this, but make sure that we're consistent. And then it takes at least 20 to 40 touch points, meaning that prospects have seen your name. They've heard your voice. They've seen your face. They've seen your company. They've received value from you. They've gotten a call. They've gotten an email. They've seen you on LinkedIn. They've gotten a connection request from you. They've seen you over and over and over and over again to even take that very next step. I didn't even say to buy from you. It's just to take the next step. How many of you, I'm curious, how many times have you seen Chris Weiser on your Facebook feed? How many times do you see him in your Google search over there on the sidebar? How many times do you see his name in your email? How many times do you see our webinars on LinkedIn? How many, like over and over and over again before it even gets someone to that very next point to nurture them? Okay. It takes time. Anthony says, to be honest, 0. It was love at first sight.
I mean, it's more than 0 because he's here right now. So
that's right. That's right.
It was at least 1.
At least 1. All right. So we want to make sure that we are hyper targeting and building our list. Now, here's how I want you to do this. And my transitions are kind of out of order. So let me go back. Okay. We want to make sure, and feel free to screenshot this or take notes here, and you will get a resource on this as well. But when you go to build your list, we want to make sure that we have an industry picked out. Okay. This means that I'm focusing on an industry that has a problem to be solved. I talked about this last week on stage in Phoenix, but we want to make sure that the folks that we're targeting have the right kind of problem for us. That means that they are either bound by compliance or they are dealing with mass amounts of customer data. It means that they are looking for a solution that has to do with security. It means that they're already probably paying on cybersecurity insurance. There is a risk there, and they understand that this is not something that they can ignore. Now, granted, you will always get people that are like, I don't need that, or no, that's not for us, or I'm not worried about it. Those are not your people. They're not your people. Let them get hacked. Fine. That's on them. Okay. But we want to make sure that we are spending our effort on companies, on industries that have a problem that you can solve. So, for example, accounting firms, nonprofit organizations, venture capital backed startups, because whose money are they protecting? Not theirs. Life science and technology, car dealerships. Okay, so all these different companies have customer data, financial data, they're bound by regulations, all these things that have to be protected. That's a problem that you solve. Okay, we also want to look at the number of seats or users. This one's just simple math. This is just, hey, I want to work smarter, not harder. But put this into perspective. Would you rather go and work with 100 companies that have 5 users each? Or would you rather go work with 50 companies that have 10 users each, right? Or 100 users each? I want to work less and make more money, right? I don't want to have to put in so much work. I'd rather go sign companies that are at least $3,000 per month, hopefully more, right? Rather than going and signing $500 a deal, right? So we actually have what we call a get out of bed number inside of sales onboarding. So this means that no matter how small the company is, I have a number, I have a minimum requirement set. So even if I go and talk to a company that's 3 users, maybe a CPA firm, maybe they're not necessarily my ideal client, but they're 3 users, I'm at least going to charge $1,500 per month because that's the minimum requirement for me to get out of bed in the morning to go and do that work for them. Okay, period. Not because it's a ripoff or anything else. It's because we have expertise and services and partners and solutions that are worth that, period. Okay, so I want to look at the number of seats that each company has. Now, what I recommend, and it kind of depends on the industry that you're in, but let's say for an example's sake, I am looking at CPA firms. Okay, so my industry is CPA firms. The number of seats or users that I would be looking at is going to be about 10. I would say 10 to 20 minimum. Okay, because you can really run a successful CPA firm and you don't really need that many employees. So I'd be looking at like 10 to 20. I want to look at annual revenue. So this is your annual revenue. I would say minimum $1 million a year. Okay, they're going to have the budget, they're going to have a maturity level, and they're going to have revenue that needs to be protected. They're not trying to keep their lights on each month. Okay, so this may mean that you have to, especially if you're in a smaller town or in a smaller city or wherever, you may have to expand your geographic region, which is the very next one here. But I may have to move outwards a little bit to find exactly who I'm looking for, and that's okay. All right. And then, of course, the last one right there is geographic location. So
side note with that really quick.
Yeah.
I have a lot of MSPs say to me, well, I'm in a small town. I'll never grow. Do you want money or not? Figure out a way to migrate. Figure out a way to service a bigger community. And I'll give you a great example. Me. I did this. I grew up in a small town in southeastern Wisconsin. My first office was in a 4,000 person town. There wasn't enough business. So you know what I did? I moved to a suburb of Milwaukee. Picked up and moved my office. I moved myself. And that precipitated massive growth. Now, you're also in a place in 2024, you can pretty much service anywhere, especially if you're vertical focused. So think about these things and get out. It's kind of time to eliminate some of the rules that you have in your head about who you can work with and how much you can charge them and where they have to be.
Yeah, 100%. I think now there's never been a better time to be an MSP owner than right now. So whenever you're building out your lists, I would shoot for a minimum of 1,000 contacts on that list. And I'm going to show you where you can do that. So Anthony, or I think it was Frank. I see your question over here. I'm going to share with you some resources, and Chris can chime in on this as well, because we are actively building lists every single day, even internally. So a couple of our favorite tools: Apollo.io, Instantly, Seamless, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. All of these work. All of them work. Now, do they all kind of have caveats and things that are different and pros and cons of each? Yes, they all work, but you got to put in the work. Okay. You may have to pull lists from all three of these and then cross-verify the data. It's going to take you some time. That's all right. All right.
And this is not just like a little, like, oh, click, click, click. Oh, I got a list. It was a free list I found on Info USA. This stuff, like, put some time into it, put some effort into it. Lindsay, you had me on your marketing machine call, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, like that. I went on there and literally showed all of her clients personally how I build lists using LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And I'll tell you guys, it's a very similar concept. I find like 5 ideal clients in a vertical, and I look at their LinkedIn profile and I look at the category they're in on LinkedIn. So, Frank, when you're asking how do you get these industry lists, look at some ideal clients and look at the category they're in. Then that should be the category that you use to search inside of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is $70 a month per user. Not expensive. You can build all these lists. You can hand contact them. You can connect to them through LinkedIn. You can also export them using a couple different tools if you want to, and then you can contact them by hand. It's not super hard to do this. Yes, it's time intensive. Yes, it takes some effort, but the best lists are built, not bought. The only caveat I would have for an industry list and buying it from somebody, and I'll give you a great example. If I go sponsor an industry trade show, I know specifically who's going to be there. Now, for example, if I go sponsor IT Nation by ConnectWise, well, ConnectWise is a managed service provider, industry-specific tool. If I have a booth there, which we do, we have a we have a workshop, we have a breakout session that we do. It's like 4 hours long. We just did one in November this past year. Lindsay and I spoke all afternoon, or sorry, it was all morning, I think, on that one. We had 100 people in the room. Great, fine. That's perfect. Industry specific. We still had to generate our list on the fly at the show for the rep. That's the kind of stuff that I would look at.
Yeah. And it's really a matter of getting scrappy. Like, you just got to be scrappy and be hungry and go for it. So build your list, review the list, cross-verify the list, clean the list. Okay. And you want to make sure that you have valid contact info. So just to kind of tell you from personal experience, my favorite two off of here would be Apollo and LinkedIn. Chris really likes LinkedIn because it is active, current information. In fact, I personally was literally on LinkedIn today, and I was updating my info on there. I was updating some personal info. So LinkedIn is updated by the end user. So it's going to have really current info around what companies people are located at, what companies they're employed by, who the point of contact is within these companies, that kind of information. My only riff with LinkedIn Sales Nav is that it doesn't always have up-to-date like mobile contact info or email addresses that you can quickly get. You have to use a separate third-party tool to grab email addresses, and then you probably need to match it up to grab their phone numbers. So there's a couple more steps in there. However, if I use Apollo, which is my favorite like third-party tool that I can just go to apollo.io, I can pull contact information, but it's not always as current as LinkedIn. So I can get mobile numbers and I can get the email addresses fairly quickly. And I'm going to go clean it using a company such as zerobounce.net. That's my favorite list cleaner, but it's not always going to be as current as what LinkedIn Sales Navigator with. So there's caveats with all of these, and there is no perfect list building tool. There's no gatekeeping here. No gatekeeping here. I'm telling you exactly what we use and what I like about each of these. Instantly is not quite as mature as the other ones. They were actually a cold email platform, and then they just recently added in the list building tool maybe a year ago. So it's just not as mature as the others. Seamless is pretty like, it's competitive with Apollo. It's kind of the same thing. Good info, but it's not always as current as LinkedIn Sales Nav. So I would shoot for lists that are at least 1,000 on the list, and then I would go up to maybe 2,500 to 5,000. But just think, the more that you get on the list, is it as targeted as you want it? So I've seen this happen numerous times where, you'll go buy a list with 25,000 contacts on there, but are all of those really within your target market, your ideal revenue, your ideal geographic location with the same problem? Probably not, right? And I want my list to be so tight and so specific that when I go to put together my message, my cold call script, my email sequence, I have a common message that I can go and relate to this list. So if I'm sending out a sequence to 25,000 people, they probably don't have the same problem. So therefore, my message is very general, and I'm going to get a lot lower conversion rate on it. Okay. So it's not always about numbers. It's about numbers and message, quality and quantity, numbers and the psychology behind the message that I'm sending out. Okay.
And the only way to really, just so you guys know, if you're not going to be very specific, like what we're talking about, the only way to get appointments booked, there's only one way to do it. And it's with the greens, which means money. So that specificity that we're talking about and all this work saves a massive amount of cash. And you have so much loss with breakage, with crappy data and all this other stuff. So for B2B, business to business, you never want to have this massive, just like dump stuff out, because you're just wasting money. And especially if you're doing any type of direct mail or any things that go on top of it, just massive amounts of wasted cash.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so you can actually see here, this is a real screen grab from a client that was building a list in Apollo. So you'll see where we took everything that we just talked about. So we took C-level executives located in Texas. And I actually started this list out with Austin, Texas. And then what you'll notice is that what's really cool about Apollo, and I think LinkedIn does this as well, but as you're entering in the information that you want, so I wanted C-level executives, and then I did Austin. Well, it only gave me like 300 results or something. So then I went out, I zoomed out a little bit, and then I did San Antonio plus Austin. Still didn't give me what I wanted. So I zoomed out again, and I added in New Braunfels. Didn't give me what I wanted. Zoomed out again. Then I just did all of Texas. Okay, so for me to hit that quantity, I may have to zoom out. Then you'll see I also did number of employees. I did 11 to 20, all the way up to 200 employees on that. And then industry, again, I started with HVAC, and then I ended up zooming all the way out to construction. So this is the power of you understanding how to build these lists, because it's not always cut and dry. All right. And I would rather you have this knowledge and you have control over who's on this list rather than you go to like a third party hunting agency and then they're calling the same leads for you that they're calling for Cyber Joe over there. How many other people are they selling that same list to? Okay. So I would rather you know how to do this, zoom in, zoom out, make changes because you know what you're doing. All right. And I see a couple of you have to drop off. That's okay. You will have access to this recording after it's over. So just come back and check it out. All right. So again, let's do the math. And we've already talked about this, but if I have a 10% close ratio, it's going to take 100 conversations. So meaning 100 outbound calls, 100 webinar registrations, 100 people at a networking event to go and book 10 first-time appointments. So out of those 10 FTAs, let's say 3 of them go forward to the CSRA, 1 contract's going to close in that same cycle. Okay. So again, have I talked to 100 people? If not, if you're fussing because you haven't signed a deal, I don't want to hear it. Go make 100 phone calls and come back. All right. So we want to make sure we're hyper targeting our list. We're buying them. We're not building them. Or I'm sorry, we're building them. We're not buying them. And we're not going to wing it. We're not going to rely on referrals alone. We're going to make sure that we're getting in the offense of our lead generation. So I want you to go ahead and tell me in the chat. Go ahead and let me know in the chat. Let's fire up the chat. Who are you going to be hyper targeting for the next 6 months? Let's think about industry, revenue, employee count, geographic location. And we are all friends here. So we're collaboration.
And while you're going to, and I want you to put this in the chat, like Lindsay said, who are you going to hyper target over what vertical are you going to hyper focus and hyper target on over the next 6 months? I want to answer Frank's question here. He said, I have a quick question. You mentioned to focus on a single industry. Why not focus on multiple industries? They all need MSPs. Absolutely agree. But here's the thing I'm going to say. You'll take anybody that's in your grouping, right? That's what I would say. I mean, I have some limitations on this because you don't want to take anybody. So be smart about it. But who you actively go after allows you to speak their language, allows you to know their vertical details, allows you to actually solve problems and talk to the problems that they have, sell the solution to those problems in your marketing messages. So speaking to that versus this general, like, oh, we manage your IT so you can manage your business. That doesn't solve a problem for anybody. And they're like, okay, it's a general IT firm. That's even if they get to that point. So you want to speak to them. Now, keep in mind, your whole goal of your marketing message is to get them to be like, oh, this person's a fit, or I see their stuff, or I see you. Like that. You want them to look at your stuff and be like, okay, I get it. That's what's important. And then actually being able to look at your stuff and saying, whoa, that's something I want, is the next level.
Yeah.
So important stuff to think about.
Yeah. And then what I actually recommend, so in Marketing Machine, our rule of thumb is you're going to choose one industry. You're going to focus on them for 3 to 6 months. So let's say, for an example, I've got Anthony says medical providers 10 to 20 to 50 in staff, generating 2.5 DC areas. So I would focus on this vertical for at least, I would start out with 3 months. At the end of 3 months, after I've done these activities, I will then make a data-driven decision to decide if I'm going to continue with that vertical for another 3 months. So minimum 3 to 6 months for your vertical. Okay. At the end of that 6 months, I've probably made some sales, right? I've made some momentum here. Then I can go and add in another vertical. So at which point I can either switch, I can kind of shift, or I can be running these simultaneously. But what I don't want you to do is try to, and I see this happen all the time, I don't want you to try to do lawyers, manufacturers, and medical offices all at once. Because how are you going to market to all 3 of those at one time? How are you going to do all of this at one time in the very beginning, right? Can you imagine if 7-figure MSP was also 7-figure CPA and 7-figure dentist office? It'd be a little confusing. So we choose one vertical. Okay. And then now can we market to folks that are 0 to 10K and then folks that are up to 7 figures and folks that are 7-figure months? Sure. We can shift our messaging with each campaign, but we have one specific focus. Okay. So my advice is to start with one. Once you get a rinse and repeat system, then you can bring it in, at which point you're probably also hiring a team. You're bringing in sales reps. You have folks that are going to help you with this. Okay, but there's no reason why you need more than one vertical at a time. So great question.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know if you saw Anthony's follow-up comment there here, but he said we support legal, financial, and medical, but we don't actively market to them all at once. Too much work. Exactly. Well said, sir. I agree 100%.
Yep. Okay. All right. So here's what I got for you. Again, make sure you're working your target market for at least 3 to 6 months before you hop to another industry. You can use the link right there, 7figuремsp.link/CPP7 steps. This is going to give you just an overview of the strategy to go after these lists. It's going to give you some pointers in there, some language that we use to kind of give you the why behind this stuff. And then on the flip side of this same resource, it's going to give you our cache messaging method, which you can then download, fill this stuff out, help you differentiate yourself in the marketplace. You can take this back to your team, back to your social media managers, your marketing, your BDRs, whomever. Make sure that you are all in alignment on your prospecting strategy. That is so important. Okay, so go ahead and grab that. All right. Now, last piece here that I'm going to move into. You've positioned yourself as a cybersecurity expert. You know that you're going to build your lists, not buy them, that are hyper targeted. Now, how do we convert those leads? All right, let's take a look at our sales pipeline. I get a lead in the door. Let's say that they're on my list here. I built this list. I got a lead in the door. I'm then going to move into the first time appointment. After a first time appointment, they go into the discovery call. Now, what's the difference between these two? Most of us on this call, I'm going to say, you probably get a lead sent to you. You get a referral. They get on the phone call with you. They tell you what their issues are. They tell you what it is they need help with. You go back and forth. You ask them a couple of questions and you say, cool, I'm going to send you over a quote, right? Okay, yeah, here's what I think we can do. And you go ahead and give them a solution. That's not what we want to do. I want to slow things down and have complete control over my sales process. Remember what we talked about? Having sales skills is absolutely critical. Instead, what I want to do, I get a cold lead in the door. I bring them into that very first phone call. It's a 10, 15-minute phone call, your first time appointment. This is, as I like to call it, the can I stand the sound of your voice call. So this is a very simple, high level call. I'm just seeing if this could even be a fit, right? I give them no quote. I give them no promises. I give them no anything of my services or whatever. Okay. I'm just seeing if this could even be a fit at all. Then if it's a yes, I'm going to set up another call with them, usually 2 to 3 days later, where I'm going to do discovery questions. This call is going to be 40, 45 minutes where I'm asking them those deeper level questions. How much is your cybersecurity policy? What's your annual gross revenue? How many employees do you have? How many workstations do you have? I'm asking those deeper questions. Why is this important to you? What's your 3-year business plan? I'm asking all these deeper level questions to help get that emotional buy-in for when I move them to the next step, which is your CSRA. Okay. All roads will lead to that CSRA. This is the sales pipeline that you want to know and live and breathe every single day, because it's then at the end of the presentation of your CSRA, are you then closing a client? So notice, I did not go from cold lead to close client. I didn't even go from cold lead to CSRA. I had cold lead, FTA, discovery call, CSRA, then close the client. This puts you in direct control of the direction of your sales conversations. Okay. Now there's a step in here. Whenever I'm making outreach, whenever I'm building my list, whenever I generate this list of 1,000 leads, I got to make sure that I'm putting in enough nurture content in between that cold lead and that FTA, right? In between that cold lead and that first time appointment. So this means I have a very systematized process of making my call, of sending them into a webinar or into a training event where I'm able to educate them. This helps me stop selling my time for money. This helps me with filling up my calendar with not a fit clients, with folks who are looking for the cheapest price. They are, looking for the fastest service. They are looking for, the IT person that's going to give me what I want when I want it. Instead, again, puts you back in control of your sales process, helps you educate and inform your clients, and helps to pre-qualify them. So just like we're doing right now, you can kind of reverse engineer this. You can see this happening in real time. We have MSPs here on the call with us. That's who we help, is MSPs. We help you all double your revenue. Okay. You're here on the call with us. We're educating you. We're educating you right here on our process, on our beliefs, on our practices, and the way that we serve our clients. That way, whenever you all get on a phone call with JJ or with one of our sales reps, you're not going in totally blind. Like, what do you help your clients do? And, oh, is this a done for you service? And, oh, just give me leads. No, you understand that this is a sales and marketing coaching firm. We help you develop these skill sets. It's the same way. So whenever you get on the phone with your leads, with your prospects, they already understand that you're cybersecurity first. They already understand that times have changed. Cyber attacks are way up. They've got to be proactive in managing their risk because you've done the nurture. You've done the work in the beginning before that FTA to help them understand that they've got to be in control of their business. They've got to make these business decisions, and you'll help them with that. But you're not promising them overnight results, lowest prices in town, same day delivery, all these crazy things, right? No, you're nurturing them, you're educating them, you're helping them make an informed decision through your nurture process.
And what so many MSPs do is they get so excited they got an appointment, they run in the door as techs, and they throw up all over themselves with no sales process and just dump pricing and all this tech mumbo jumbo out in front of the client, and then they commoditize by you because they're used to that. But I will tell you, if you go in with a structure and if you go in with a process and you dictate the path of the sale, they listen. Mm-hmm. Takes confidence, takes structure, takes planning, takes practice, but it works.
Yep, 100%. And I think that's so key. It takes practice, doing the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, so I want to make sure that we're playing the long game here. I just think this is funny. I'm not sure if 100 follow attempts is too much or if I should keep trying. Keep trying, keep going, put them into actual valuable content, valuable webinars, trainings, things that you can use to serve your clients, things that they can actually use and apply. And then I promise you it's going to pay off. Okay. All right. So, and I've kind of already talked about this, so I'm not going to continue on this, but we want to make sure that we're educating, that we are weeding out the people who are not a fit. So you can best believe that whenever you pull these leads into conversation or into a webinar or training with you, and into these nurture events that you're hosting, and you start talking about cybersecurity and you start talking about being proactive, these business owners that are just in it until they can retire in the next 6 months, they're going to drop off really quick. And that's fine. That's not the kind of people that you want to work with anyways. Okay. We just had Mike Michalowicz last week at our Phoenix event, and he was there to talk about profit first. But last year, he was there talking about the pumpkin plan. And it's all about nurturing and growing your biggest, best clients, your biggest, best pumpkins. Okay. We don't want to fill up our MSP and fill up our workload with all the tiny pumpkins that just want the lowest bottom dollar price. I want to nurture the big pumpkins, the ones who are there. They're focused on growth. They're high growth businesses. They're looking at their 5, 10, 15-year goals. That's the kind of business owner that you want to be working with. So if you get some folks that drop out, it's not a fit, that's okay. We're okay with that. Okay. So I'm going to quickly move through this case study with one of our clients who came into Marketing Machine in November of 2022. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to understand that these things take practice. It takes time, and that's normal. Okay. We got to normalize this. But he came in November of 2022. He did not run his first campaign until March of last year. So about 5-6 months later, he runs his first campaign. First run, no conversions, no registrants or attendees to his first webinar. So he actually did a webinar where he's educating on risk. So what did he do? Did he give up? No, he ran the campaign again. So he goes back, he runs the webinar again, runs the campaign again. It did better. He's marketing it to his list. He had a couple of attendees, but no conversions yet. So now he's done it 2 times. Should he give up? No. He goes and does it a 3rd time. 3rd time, he had an 80% appointment booking rate. So based on the folks that joined into that webinar with him, 80% of them on that call booked an appointment with him. And from that, he closed over $57,000 in new revenue. I'll go run a webinar 3 times to get $57,000 in revenue. What about you? Okay. It takes doing the stuff more than 1 time to see the results. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the why behind this. Here's exactly how this happened. Before those leads entered into his sales funnel. So if we think about that sales funnel, cold lead, FTA, discovery call, CSRA, closed client, what had to happen? Before that sales funnel, Will had a list. He had a list of ideal prospects. He invited that list to his educational webinar. It's a training all about how times have changed, cyber attacks are way up. He then delivered his training. He built rapport, he built trust, and he sent his leads to go register for a cyber strategy session, which is the FTA, the first time appointment, where he's then able to tell if they're fit or not, moving them into that CSRA. And he repeated the process. He did this 3 times. Okay. Now, after they came into that sales pipeline that I just showed you, cold lead, FTA, discovery, CSRA, closed client, after they come into that funnel, what does he have? He has a streamlined sales process. He does not skip steps. He does not say, oh, well, they seem like they're really nice. I'm going to move them straight ahead to pitching the CSRA on our first phone call. Oh, you know what? They seem like they really get it. I'm going to skip the CSRA altogether and give them a quote. No, we do not do that. Okay. He took his time. He did not skip steps. And this one's so important. He had neutral attachment to the results of this webinar, of this campaign. So this means, guys, we've got to detach our personal worth from our business results. And I think that too many business owners are getting caught up in personal worth, business results. Detach and know that everything is directly related to the effort that you put in. It has nothing to do with your worth as a human being. It has to do with the effort that you're putting in. Okay, so detach from that and just know if it doesn't work this time, I'm going to keep doing it. Because if I'm not doing this, then what else am I going to do? What's the alternative? He had one all-inclusive plan. So again, we're not having this tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, silver, gold, platinum plan. It's here's the stack. The stack is the stack is the stack. We should put that on a t-shirt. Okay. And of course, he's not giving up. So who wants to be like Will? I think that we all do, right? That's why you're here. That's why you're here today, because you want to see results like this. You want to get those 10 leads per month. You want to go close a deal per month. You want these results that are sustainable and scalable. This is stuff that you can do over and over and over again. So here's what I want you to do. I have a template here. This is the actual template to our why you need a CSRA presentation. This presentation is a staple piece of your marketing. This presentation you can go and do to every single industry, every single vertical, every single association, group, chamber, networking event, whoever, wherever. This is a cornerstone of your marketing messaging. Why you need a CSRA. So again, this is our process. That presentation would be right there in the nurture section of this pipeline. So when I get my list of 1,000 leads, I'm sending them to this training. So I'm making my cold call. Hey, this is Lindsay from ABC Technology. We're reaching out to you to invite you to a community training that we're hosting on February 21st. We're going to be talking about why your company needs a CSRA. Are you the best person to invite into this webinar? Cool. I'm going to be sending them into that webinar. I'm not selling them on a CSRA on that first call. I'm not asking them to be my client on that first call. I'm not withholding their dark web information and holding it hostage for them to get on a phone call with me. I'm bringing them into this neutral landing place, into this nurture event, this webinar, this training where I can educate and inform them and begin to move them through my sales process. Okay, so here's your link right here. Okay, sevenfigureMSP.link/WYNA, so WYNA, CSRA, Prezzo. And this is going to take you to an actual Canva link that helps you go in and invite those leads to this place, to this neutral landing place where you can begin to move them through your pipeline. So this webinar does not go away. You can repeat this over and over and over again. Once you run this, in fact, most of our marketing machine clients do this. Once you run this at least 3 times and you get a really good handle on it, then you can start playing around with the title. I get it. The title's not that sexy. Why you need a CSRA? It's not that sexy. But you got to get the message down first. You got to understand what makes your prospects click. You got to see what makes their light bulb go off. Then you can start playing around with it and you can shift it up a little bit. But the message, it's going to be the same. What's inside of it, it's going to be the same. Okay? Doesn't go away.
This is also a really good, sorry, Lindsay. This is also a really good presentation to do in front of chambers, in front of BNI groups. Like you can take this and make it into an actual talk that you speak to, because your whole messaging here should be, okay, I understand this is how it always used to be, but here's why you need a CSRA. You need to know what you don't know. You need to know your network better than the hackers do. That's the kind of stuff that we're talking about here.
Yep, absolutely. This is also what we use. So whenever you come into the Elite program, 7-Figure MSP Elite, your first thing is to go and make money off the rip. We want you to make money from the beginning. And Chris, I know you're going to talk about this, but you're going to go to your existing clientele and talk to them about times of change. This same webinar, you can also be using to nurture your existing clientele. So as they're waiting on their risk assessment results, as they're waiting on their presentation, you can be sending them into this webinar, into this training, talking about why we get the CSRA. Why is this important? To, again, get that emotional buy-in to this process. So it's used for existing clientele as well as new leads as well. Okay, so really quick, and I'm going to pass the baton. Remember, it's our job to push leads into and through our pipeline every single day. If you took nothing else from this webinar, please take that away. It's your job every single day to push them into and through your pipeline. The work for this year has already begun. We got to get started, guys. We cannot wait until the end of the month. We cannot wait until Q2. We have to get started now. We want to position ourselves as a cybersecurity expert. It's not an afterthought. It's in the forefront of everything that we do. We want to get into the rooms that we need to be in, chambers, groups, associations, podcasts, all these places. We want to build, not buy, our lists of ideal clients based on industry, revenue, employees/seats, and location. I want to play the long game with my nurture content. I get it's going to take 20 to 40 touch points at least Okay. And I want to nurture through these webinars, through these trainings, through these campaigns that allow me to educate and inform my prospects. Most importantly, do not stop. Do not give up. You cannot get the sale that you did not ask for. Okay. So thank you. And I'm going to pass it back to you, Chris.
Lindsay, you're so good. It's crazy. It just pisses me off, actually.
All right. I'm going to stop my share.
I love it. I already got my stuff on the screen.
Okay, good.
Whatever.
Well,
okay, guys.
Is screen sharing.
Any questions? I know that's a lot. I know it's a lot of stuff to talk about and a lot of stuff to think about. And Lindsay just has so much really good content. It's very hard to deliver this. And we actually thought about delivering this in like a 2 webinar series, but then you got to have 2. And I'd rather do it at one shot, 2 hours kind of thing. So anybody have any questions?
Over here, I'll answer this.
Okay.
From Asanka. Asanka says, what code email tool do you use to send the email sequence? So our clients, because they are using safe email practices, they can actually use our CRM. So we have a CRM called WiseTrack. They can use that CRM because they have super tight and specific email practices that keep them from being flagged. But if you're not using WiseTrack CRM and you're not sure about these safe emailing practices, I would use Instantly. Instantly would be my top pick for that. Instantly, or even Apollo as well.
There's also what's that? Shoot, what is it? Is it Grass? No, what is that other one?
Instantly, Woodpecker.
Woodpecker. Yep, I almost said grasshopper. It's an animal.
Grasshopper. So close.
Grasshopper is a phone system. Too many animals in my head.
I think that's
you can also use Woodpecker. It's not too bad. The thing that you don't want to do is you do not want to use your specific email address with your Office 365 or anything like that. You want to have completely separate domains for this stuff. I also would be very careful. I would recommend, like, it's fine to cold email, but it's not that, like, it's not a horrible system in today's world, but I'd almost rather see you do a cold LinkedIn personally, B2B, or actually, and I'm going to tell you something that works really, really well that I've done for years. Still do it. I do cold FedEx. You cold FedEx something really valuable, like a really good, valuable report to a human. Who opens that?
The user.
Think about your own life. Like,
mm-hmm.
If it shows up FedEx, it's important. They're opening it. So, and then you can call down or then email down. It's not cold anymore.
Yeah, that's actually a really great practice with the FTC safeguards. So if you all are targeting, CPAs, or really almost anyone's bound by FTC now, but you can send, we actually have a template, for example, in Marketing Machine where you have this like official letter that you send to your clients, informing them of the updates with the FTC safeguards and letting them know, here's what you need to do, attend our upcoming training, XYZ, FedEx them that letter, 2-day that letter to them. They're going to open it up and then go register for the webinar, get them into this training, XYZ, move them through your sales process.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, a couple other quick things. Michael just said here, I'm going to put this on the screen, said great information, so much to digest, but it all has so much value. Lindsay's really good, and we do this webinar once a quarter, so it's a good one. Anthony said he uses Go High Level. Notice I'm wearing, that's what I was showing us, I'm wearing a High Level t-shirt because we are their MSP partner, their exclusive MSP partner, which is really cool. And WiseTrack CRM is built on High Level with all of our content and our support and our systems. So if you want to do that, it's built into our elite program. You can just move over. Either way, we don't care. It's not a big deal. You just can't have our content if you don't use our platform. That's the only trick. And like Anthony just said here, random packages. I love to get just random interesting stuff. There's no CEOs that don't open FedEx packages. I will tell you that. It's a really, really valuable thing. And like I said, so Asanka said FedEx is a great idea, but it's costly to do. I'm not going to debate that. I'm not saying make it 500 of them, but 20 a month. Could you do that? How much is your lead cost? Like, think about that. It's not that bad if you're just going to do the next day letter. It's not that expensive. It's what, $15 per? What's your typical lead cost? Typical lead cost for most MSPs is about $300. So if you identified a really good quality lead and had something really valuable to give them that would trip their trigger. And like, this is where having content, you can't just be like, randomly shoot a bunch of stuff out there and then send them a handwritten note that says, hey, I'd love to sell you cybersecurity, give me a call. That ain't gonna work. Like, you got to give them something that actually moves the needle for them. So you got to figure that out. It takes a little bit of time, but it really works. I will tell you that. Okay, et cetera, et cetera. Anthony asked, what does it mean? We have I'll explain that if you want to talk to me. It's separate, but we got some new press stuff coming out with High Level. So we got big news coming down the road, thus the t-shirt. So, okay. All right. Yeah. Nasaka just said, 20 months, 30 months should be fine. You can stand out from hundreds of emails. Yeah. And I will tell you, it really does work. So, okay, I am going to pop over to my content here, and I'm going to kind of finish up today's webcast. If you guys have any other comments, Lindsay, you can kind of run some of that stuff. Feel free to interrupt me because we're running on small screens today. But I'm going to take a couple minutes and just talk about our Inner Circle program, and then we'll do our prizes coming up here in a second. Some good examples of a gentleman. This is Brian Wooster from Bakersfield, California. Came into our program. One of the things, and he said, my first no. Well, what people do when they sign up for our elite program is we have them make a list of all their existing clients, and you kind of saw this on the Run the Play worksheet. Pick out a few that'll say no to anything you suggest. Well, Brian did this. My first no just signed the contract. They were an hourly client, 16 computers, signed to a 3-year deal, $2,000 onboarding, and $3,500 a month. So let's just run numbers on that. I got my little trusty calculator here. He had $3,500 a month divided by 16 computers. He was at $218.75. Sorry, my blur is messing up here, but $218.75 per seat on that one. Not perfect, not 300, but you know what? Hell of a lot better than an hourly client on a 3-year deal, and he got $2,000 on board. If you look at the rest of what Brian did, 5 presentations in 4 weeks, 4 contracts signed, and a total of 7,800 new MRR, all 36-month deals or longer. That's what you should see in our coaching program, and the big difference. I'm going to tell you, you can do all of this stuff that we just showed you on your own without question. Discipline, content, all this other stuff. We are an accelerant. That's what our program is. And our 7-figure MSP Inner Circle Elite is a complete sales and marketing coaching program to get you to 7 figures and beyond. We had a huge company join this last week. They're millions of dollars a year, and they're actively looking at this. So, and they actually joined and are working with our program. Sales and marketing coaching. So it includes all of our stuff, our double your MRR sales system. That includes our complete system with me, Cindy Phillips, Ryan O'Hara, where we start on the sales onboarding side. You go through that between 30 and 90 days it will take you. Just kind of depends on how much work you're putting in. I think the average we see an MSP complete this process is about 57 days. I think that's what Ryan said at our leadership meeting on Friday, is about 57 days. We also have multiple weekly sales open office hours that you get with this to get your questions answered, and we workshop your deals. We also have the 7-figure MSP marketing machine with the tremendous, that one right there, Lindsay Badillo. We're sitting in our hotel rooms here in New Orleans today. You also get a weekly marketing open office hours. Lindsay runs this on a monthly cadence. It's about a 3-week program, and you run it every single month. What you want to say anything on that one, Lindsay?
Yeah, it's actually a 4-week program, and you will go through it several times. This is what helps you get the rinse and repeat process. It's going to take you several times of going through this. This is for you, CEO, founder, owner, as well as your marketing and your appointment setting team. So if you have SDRs or marketing managers or folks in your company that are responsible for booking appointments, you also want to plug them into Marketing Machine. So this is built for you, but it's also built for scale as well. So it grows with you as your company grows.
Yep. We also have all of these proposal presentations and agreement templates. So you get our full cybersecurity sales PowerPoint included, our full cybersecurity sales Word template included. You also get our risk acceptance letter template included, along with our full MSA agreement template and our full statement of work templates included, our cybersecurity incident response plan template included, and our discounted access to our ultimate MSP contract kit and weekly legal advice call with our in-house general counsel. All of those are included. That legal advice call is brand new. That's something we just added onto the program. We announced it last week at our Phoenix event. Good example. We also have our processes, and tools. Our complete 7-figure MSP risk assessment system with the Talivi and product included, and a bunch of other stuff on top of that as well, along with our hiring machine and other systems for that. Along with Anthony was just talking about Go High Level and the t-shirt that we were talking about. We have our program called WiseTrack. It's built on top of the High Level shell. High Level is basically a white label product. We build all of it, and then we have run our own support, run all of our own content. And it's all inside of that, along with all of our tools and our dev and all those different things. So you get our full WiseTrack with training and coaching. You get 100 plus marketing campaigns and multi-client newsletter included, along with the email nurture software inside of WiseTrack, and an MSP website, like Lindsay was talking about with Asanka there. So, okay, Chris, what's the next step? You guys saw all the things that are included in the program. We got all this different stuff that's on top of this. Total is over $15,000 per month and growing. Like, we're always adding new things to the program. My special offer for you guys today, 12 months of our elite coaching program for only $2,000 a month. Now, if you book your call, I love that. I love that. That's me using an animated GIF. Lindsay, that's pretty rare. Pretty rare. My special action bonus for you guys today, if you book your call right now, I'll cut off $250 per month. Just let the guys know that you booked the call from the webinar, and that'll be a $1,750 per month deal for you. So you got to book your call. Like right now, I'm going to give you your strategy session URL here in 1 second. Lindsay, if you want to type it in the chat, when we have it here in a second here, you can do that. And again, here's all the included stuff, and here is your actual URL. Oh, hold on. Let me get that really quick. I'm going to come back to
the answer a question really quick before you do your refund or before you do your guarantee. Asanka says, do you guys help with making sales presentations? Yes, we do. Also content files for lead nurturing. Yes to both of those.
Yes. And one of the things that we have, if you saw the mention of the open office hours, we want you to actually come in forever, as far as I'm concerned, but all your deals should be workshopped. As far as I'm concerned, yes. Like, why would you do this on an island when you have 5 to 25 to 45 people on a call that you can workshop it with? So we have a coach on every single one of our open office hours calls. Bring it in, raise your hand. I need to workshop this deal. We'll workshop it until it's done. Like, that's the whole deal. Never should be on an island with this. You have not only us, our coaches, and our MSPs in residence, which are actually MSPs that are in the field that have graduated to the point of becoming MSP coaches on the fly. And then you have all of our other members that are working together. Probably the best part of our program is the community, honestly. Like, it's so cool and so great. But Lindsay, there is the URL for you to book that, but it's 7figuremsp.com/strategy call. I'm going to come back to my guarantees here really quick because I got my slides out of order because I'm a dumbass. But Chris, I don't know if this program will work. I'm nervous to commit. I think this is a scam. Is there a guarantee? Guarantee number one. I got 2 guarantees for you guys just to show you that I believe in the program so much. I have a 90-day money-back guarantee on this program. This has never been requested. We definitely have people that don't kill it in the program. I'm not going to say that. But they don't kill it, not because of us. They don't kill it because of lack of effort, and that's straight out. So if you come in here and you say, I did all the work, and we actually say in our agreement, you have to come on a certain number of calls, and it's not extreme. It's just like in the first month, be on your onboarding calls, be on all 4 sales onboarding calls, and complete your first 3 no's in your first 90 days. That's what we expect you to do. Everyone that does that sees their money back, sees ROI. Like, literally, that's how it works. It works in every market. We have it literally in every English-speaking country in the world. We have history and results that show this works. And if that's the case, we'll refund your money in full, no questions asked. To the point where it works so well, I added a second guarantee. Continuing how I believe so much in the program, if you participate in all the work and attend all the calls and do your first 3 CSRAs in your first 90 days, and you don't make at least your investment back, like, this is a no-brainer. I'll write you a check for whatever your investment is. So if it's $1,750 today, I'll write you a check for $1,750. I'll write you that back. I have no problem with that. All you have to do is do the work. It's that simple. So again, here is your strategy call booking link, and we'd love to have you guys work with us. Yep. Lindsay, any questions?
No, I actually just want to share. I just got a text message from one of our MSP and residence coaches. You can't see it because of my blur, but he says Tuesday we should close on $5,400 in new MRR and $6,500 onboarding. So that's literally live right now. Just came through.
Yeah, and we actually got one just a few minutes ago from Carmine Corridor.
Yeah.
Looks like, oh, actually, this was a little bit ago. I didn't realize this was February 6th, but Cindy must have just
My
commented.
birthday.
Yes, you just commented on it. But this is another win anyway. Just got done at the council meeting. The borough approved it, and he's in eastern Pennsylvania. So very eastern Pennsylvania, like almost in New York, Pennsylvania. The borough approved 3 years, $1,200 a month for 4 computers. My competitors, $300 a month for 3 hours remote only support. They love the fact that I came in with the presentation, and they also went to a workshop talking about municipality cybersecurity. Guess what? They are telling them the same stuff we are talking about.
Yep.
So this is the kind of stuff that moves the needle, guys. Like, it's a big deal. So, okay, I'm going to come around to our prizes.
Okay.
And Lindsay, here is what we're going to do, guys. Oh, look at that. That's kind of nice to see that. I don't know if Christopher put this up here. I know people who are in the program for more than a few years. I'd be curious to I got to yell at those guys because don't want them talking about me. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, and actually, Asaka said, do you do this only for MSPs? Yes, we do this only for MSPs. The same concepts work across the board, I'll say that, but we focus on this. This is our ICP who we work with. So, okay, so here's what we're gonna do for prizes, and I'm gonna set a 2-minute timer on my phone here. Let me just do this. Timer going right now, 2 minutes, about to start. What is the one thing you took out of today's webinar that you can take and use right now? And I'm starting a timer for 2 minutes. There we go, right there. That is running. Lindsay, let's see what we got here. And I'm going to make Lindsay.
Oh, I get to pick the lucky winners. How many prizes do we have today?
We have 2. We have a $100 Amazon gift card and a $75 Amazon gift card. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this. Everyone that books your call, not only do you get to book the call and get that gift based on what the call is, which is your strategy session here. Everyone that books a call gets a $50 Amazon gift card. Okay, so if you do that, you get to earn a call. Now, you do have to complete the call, and we do need to get your business email. We've definitely had some scammers lately trying to get in on this. So if you're a scammer, you're not going to get through the process, just so for the record.
Yeah.
So Michael McGee here said, do something. Sanka said, the importance of follow-ups and follow-up process. I think that's key. Michael McGee said CSRA. Charles said, make a plan, then execute. Scott Kelly said, focus a lot just on marketing alone. Really, really, really key that you put a massive amount of effort into this system, into systems like this, guys. It's I can't state that enough. Anthony said, spend the $60 or whatever it is on Apollo and go get some FTAs that follow a proper sales framework. I 100% agree with that, Anthony. I love that as well. Let's see what else we got. Come on, guys. We got a lot of people on the call here.
I want to speak to what Scott just said. Focus on marketing alone. Make sure that you're focusing on money-making marketing. So what Anthony said, build a list, make some calls, set some appointments. That's money-making marketing. Not posting on social media for the heck of it, but actually money-making marketing. So important.
And I say to that, Lindsay, you've heard me say this before, do not confuse activity with achievement. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a very important thing to remember.
Yep.
Jason said sales first.
Beautiful.
Jason's in our 0 to 10K program. Hi, Jason. It's good to see you, brother. All right, timer is up. Lindsay, we got a minimal amount of people today, so your odds are insane. Nobody's responding today.
Yeah.
Oh wait, here comes Michael McGee again. Be the expert. I like that. So Lindsay, let's do a drum roll here for your $75 award winner.
All right, ready? Can I do it like this? I just close my eyes
and I don't even know what the hell you're doing.
Scroll my mouse up and down.
Okay.
All right, right here. Got it.
My arms are tired.
Oh crap! That was somebody that didn't answer. Okay. All right, Anthony Reyes. Ta-da!
I think it's Reyes.
Reyes. Okay. Anthony Reyes. You are the lucky winner of our first prize.
It's not like you're married to a Latino man or anything.
I know, right? Reyes.
Good job, Badillo. Badillo. So you get for wrecking Anthony's last name for him. Okay, Anthony, you win a $75 gift card that comes directly out of Lindsay's paycheck. Congratulations. If you could do me a favor, Anthony, please put your business email in the chat, and we will get that out to you. Second up, we have a $100 gift card winner.
Drum roll.
Hold on.
All right. Asanka. I'm not Asanka K.
Yeah, I can't say that last name either. Kamburagamoy.
That was good.
Nope, not very good.
Impressive.
I was pretty massacred. Okay, Anthony, I'm going to. So Asanka, do me a favor. You get a $100 gift card. If you're not in the States, we'll sort it out with you. I'm gonna have Anne Marie reach out to you, but please put your business email in the chat.
Oh my gosh,
did it right.
What?
Wow.
What?
Oh, Anthony said it's Filipino. There is actually we have a large Filipino staff, including our graphic designer that makes all this nice graphics. In fact, Lindsay, did you see these new slides?
Which ones with the guarantees?
Yeah, those are pretty fancy.
Those are awesome.
Those are brand new.
Huge fan.
Yeah, we got the money flying. Like
Making
Ronaldo did that. Ronaldo did that. Ronaldo also is in the Philippines, and he's a very good man and a phenomenal graphic designer. Like literally all of our branding, everything across the board, including that fast track stuff that Lindsay had, all from Ronaldo. So Asanka, do me a favor, please. Anthony, you're good to go, brother. I got to try and track that down here. Hold on, let me see if I can copy that. I can't copy that, so I'm going to figure that out. But Asanka, I need your business email address in the chat, please.
Mm-hmm. And guys, go book your calls. It's we had the link in here, sevenfigureMSP.com/strategy call. We have a really awesome team. They will chat with you through any unique questions. If you're like, well, my business is this or my business is that, that's why they're there, is to help you make.
Asanka wants to give the gift too. She wants to pass the gift on because she's not. That is very kind of you. Asanka. I really appreciate that. That's amazing. Okay, so I guess you gotta pick another one, Lindsay.
All right, well, you know what you have to do, right? All right, Michael McGee.
Michael McGee, congratulations. Hopefully Michael's still here and he didn't leave. Michael McGee, you have won a $100 gift card courtesy of Asanka. You're very welcome to Asanka. Michael, I need your business email address in the chat, please.
Awesome.
And okay, Lindsay, while Michael's doing that, any parting words from you today, Lindsay?
Yeah, no, I think that this was right on time. We're following the live event. It's beginning of the year, like just whatever's happened so far in the year for all of you. Like today's a new day. Tomorrow's a new day. Start somewhere. Do something. We've got so much content out there. Go through our past webinars. Go to our YouTube channel. We have so much stuff out there. Book a call with the team. Join the big Facebook group that we have, the IT and MSP Business Owners Group. Like we just have so many resources for you, no matter where you are in your business journey. And we just look forward to supporting you. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Lindsay, we just closed a 0 to 10K sale on Klarna. Can you believe it's on Klarna? I didn't even know that. Yeah, somebody actually bought one Klarna. Hold on one second. I'm going to write these down. Here's what I'll tell you guys. Lindsay, could you do me a favor and write I don't have the ability to write.
Yeah, I got it. I can grab these emails.
So that one and the Anthony's too. But here's what I'll tell you guys. Marketing and lead gen is a skill. It takes time. It takes effort. I spent some time last night talking to Joseph Masry, who was in today's webinar. Lindsay, I was texting you some of the stuff I was messaging with Joe last night. Mm-hmm. And like Joe was super nice young man too, by the way. He's 20 years old, in New York, in Brooklyn. Very nice young man, and just was very respectful and asked for some help. So I'm like, sure, I'll help you out. And he spent a lot of time working on his website, making his website perfect, making it pretty. And I'm like, dude, I appreciate that you're doing this, but all you're doing it's like peeing into the wind. It's a lot of work. It's the worst analogy I could have ever used. But the bottom line with it is, thanks, Lindsay.
It definitely doesn't beat my Super Bowl analogy. I'm just saying.
That's fair. But the thing is, you got to focus on stuff that's going to move the needle. So what I ended up building with Joseph on the fly is I said, hey, I want you to go make a guide for CPAs on how to hack-proof. Here's how to completely prevent your CPA firm from getting hacked and be compliant with FTC safeguards at the same time. And he's like, yeah, but I can't prevent that. I'm like, that's the whole point of the guide. The title of the guide is what gets them excited. They think that, oh, I'm going to read this guide and I can prevent all the hacks. When in reality, the guide then reveals no one can. And they still see you, and you literally paint the picture in the guide, which Joseph is handwriting, by the way. It takes time, takes effort, takes skill, takes execution. So he's 24 hours into writing his guide. And then he's going to show them exactly how to lock down their network and how to do the right things to make sure they're prepared for insurance. The next thing is, oh, they're going to do this on their own. Good, great, amazing. Go do it on your own. You'll realize how much it sucks, Mr. CPA firm. And you'll call Joseph because he wrote this guide that you read and executed on, because he's now what? An expert. That doesn't necessarily mean he's an expert hacker. He's not an expert white. You got companies you can hire to be a white hat hacker for you. You got all these great vendors in the channel. You need to be an expert at talking about it. That's what you need to be an expert at. Look at me. I'm not even a great sales coach. I didn't go to college. I barely went to freaking high school. But I'm pretty good at being a visionary. I'm pretty good at speaking in public. I'm pretty good about being on webinars, all this stuff. That's what matters. That's what moves the needle, guys. So you got to think, do you want to be a tech guy crawling under desks, or do you want to be a wealthy individual that runs companies? Mm-hmm. Take your pick, because that's what will happen if you become good at sales and lead gen. I promise you that. Because I'm really good at that shit now. Lindsay, you've been here 2 years. And
we're only going up. We're only going up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good, guys. Thanks so much. My name is Chris Weiser, for the wonderful, amazing Lindsay Badillo. Badilla.
Jeez.
Sorry, Badilla. I want to thank you for being with us.
Good luck hosting that road show by yourself tomorrow.
She's like 3 floors down below me, so she's not getting dinner tonight. That's what happened.
Oh, wow.
You guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys soon. If you're in New Orleans, please come see us tomorrow. We'll be at the Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in downtown New Orleans. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.